Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 96. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots. Roots, brother, my head is still spinning. I mean, the sheer volume of announcements and news that we've had over the last week. I mean, it's almost like there was some kind of an event, right? Like an E3 or a GDC. Only there was none of that. Just collusion amongst VR studios, large and small.
Yeah, there had to have been some kind of a plan. Somebody even alluded to that, it was one of the showcases that didn't happen this year, kind of happened on that day, but it wasn't unofficial. It's kind of weird. It'd be weird for everybody to come out. It's like when last year when everything started getting weird and all the commercials started lining up to be almost exactly the same. It was weird. But sometimes you wonder about that, but it definitely has been a good week for VR for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking into it, man. Obvious collusion here. I want to know how it came to be. I want to know whose idea it was, how they got everybody on the same page. I am making an attempt to get behind the story here, and if I can, I'll share that with you all if I find anything out. But man, I wasn't lying. My head's still spinning. So many news, so many announcements that we had to start on our Wednesday late night program covering all of it because there was just too much to do it all in one show. And that's something that we generally don't like to do. We don't normally do news on Wednesday, but I think our hands were kind of tied this week.
Yeah, well, and it's rare, especially in the middle of the week, to actually get some of that news in before all these shows are like right before ours. We're kind of like the dessert of the week, right, for VR. So it's kind of nice to be the vegetables every once in a while, slip in a little bit of news during the show. And it was so much. Like you said, there was so much, and it was so big that you couldn't not talk about it. But I don't know.
Virtual virtual broccoli.
Yeah, virtual broccoli. That is that's the new name of the morning show. But or afternoon, I guess. Now I was just kind of saying cool. I was kind of saying it was cool that Greg's VR was. He made a comment in the chat that he's finally getting a chance to see this from the very beginning. And I thought that was kind of cool. Like not everybody gets a chance to watch the podcast from beginning to end because of the time frame. So it's kind of nice to start a little bit later than normal, and that's why we did it. No,
Yeah,
maybe.
Greg's VR, a commenter, right? Generally, don't see him in the chat a whole lot, but always leaving comments on the video. And I'd like to remind any of you who are watching after the fact, leave a comment down below. And we're assuming that this affects the algorithm because that's what every other channel tells you to do. So
Mm,
we're going to just go with the flow and ask you all to leave a comment. And the comment doesn't have to say anything, it can just say comment for the algorithm. We had
mm.
a couple last week, Roots, that said comment for the algorithm. And I was like, reply for the algorithm, you know.
Well, that works for me. Another thing too, check out Greg's VR's channel. I've been looking at it; it's pretty good. And we already got a thumbs down, Wes. Isn't that amazing? And somebody's
Not
already.
that not that surprised. The secret asshole remains in the room. And you know, if you don't like the show, I respect that. And you have it's certainly within your right to thumb it down, but only a coward leaves a thumbs down without leaving a comment
Yeah.
to air their grievances.
Yeah, if you're gonna help the algorithm with your thumbs down, you might as well leave a comment as well, because it really is. You'd think it'd be better just to not do anything. So we appreciate your interaction. Step it up a bit, and we'll respect you as well.
You know, I watch enough of these VR shows, and I don't watch them, start to finish. There's way too many of them. All of our friends have shows,
Mhm.
but I bounce around when I can. I stop in and say hello, and I by looking at these thumbs up and thumbs down, I've come to realize, Roots, that there is just one guy in the world that just really hates VR.
Yeah, or they're just one. I mean, there's only one person and this makes a lot more sense in this
Who?
amazing world that's unhappy. Everybody else is really, really happy. The world is just a peachy keen place. I understand why people get so negative. I just don't understand when it comes at us because this is the best kept secret on YouTube and in VR, in my opinion.
Well, maybe it's the one guy is upset because I'm not talking about Half-Life Alex, but I think
Mm.
I think we're doing a little better than mini golf this week. I got to
Hmm.
say.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and Half Life Alex as well. I think like all of these things are good for VR. Half Life Alex, and that was last year's news. We're working into 2021.
So let's recap the week a little bit. Talk about a few of the things really quickly here that we're not really going to be covering during the show today. The stuff we talked about on Wednesday and some stuff we didn't talk about on Wednesday. Um, First of all, I mean, I guess we should start by saying that out of all of this stuff, there was one piece that we were expecting, right? Coming into the week for weeks at this point now, all of the fast travel games like social media uh, accounts, they were dropping hints. They were teasing that something was coming, that something was coming, something great's coming. So we knew that we were going to get some kind of start to their promotional campaign for Wraith, the Oblivion Afterlife. And then when we saw early last week, Upload VR announced their new access, their monthly access pieces that they're going to be doing on these various upcoming games. You know, I immediately 2+2 = 4 to me. I knew immediately right then what fast travel had been alluding to all of this time. So when Upload, revealed Wraith as the first upload access title. No big surprise here. But what I was surprised about was some of the things we learned about the game. Ruuts, still, we don't have our hands on the games yet, so I don't want to judge too early. But this thing looks like it's right down my alley, right?
Yeah.
Very story driven, very atmospheric. And what I was really impressed with from the footage that we got from our friend Gamertag VR, as well as others, is the sound design seems to be on point. And as you know, that is a very important aspect when it comes to horror in VR.
Well, it was encouraging to see every single one of them have those moments of I don't want to say jump scares, because like jump scares are jump scares. This was like legitimate, like, oh shit, like what the hell, several times from each person. And it was all just that small snippet of gameplay, right? So I would imagine either every one of them are really good actors, or it really is legitimately creepy and it's going to make you startled. And it's exactly what not only you want, but I would like to see in VR as well. I'm not a big horror person, but if a game's good and it's got a compelling story and it's creepy, I'm definitely down. So
Yeah, man. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, not only could we see that it was creepy, could we tell that the sound design was immaculate, but it's my kind of gameplay, right? It's okay, there's a story here, but we're not going to tell you all of it. We're going to give you a little bit of it. Now you have to go uncover the rest of the mystery. You know that this is my type of gameplay, right? The exploration horror game where you're examining a huge manor and you're finding bits and pieces of the story as you go. And oh, by the way, there are terrifying things around every corner trying to kill you again. So absolutely couldn't be more pumped for Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife, and not that long to wait, Ruuts, as we know that it's coming in about a month now, maybe a little
ooh,
longer, to the Oculus platform.
wow, yeah, I'm excited, man. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it because it looks phenomenal. I know the games that they've done in the past were good, but this is completely different, and I'd love to see really good companies do something different and nail it. And I think they're going to. So, but only time will tell.
Well, the cool thing about it is that I happen to know that a good deal of the people that are in charge there are all horror buffs. So that they've been one of the OGs in VR for a while now, and their early success is now allowing them to work on something that they're truly passionate about, other than just VR. Now they're getting to do VR and horror, which I got to imagine as someone who loves both. It's got to be a dream, right? Um, if you love your work, then you never work a day in your life, right? And I got to imagine that that's the case for these guys. They must be bummed out on the weekend when
Mm.
they can't go to work, right?
Yeah, maybe not so much bummed, but they're definitely excited to get there on Monday. I'll tell you what, though, you're right. It'd be like if I was going to do a horror game, or if I wanted to have a Here They Lie esque game or something, and I was a developer, I'd be like picking Wes's brain, not letting him, know what's in the sausage, but like ideas. You know what I mean? Like certain people really have an idea of what this kind of creepiness or that kind of environment and just different things that could just really freak people out. And I don't think a lot of developers take that into consideration. You know, like you said, you've got a team of people that's their dream. They want to put out this horror game, this really creepy game, and they're now allowed to. And now they can really put everything into it. It's like that one person that finally took the shackles off for locomotion back in the day and said, you know what, this is what people want, and I don't care if people say it makes people sick. We're going to do it anyway. Probably Serious Sam was a good contender back in the
Yeah.
day, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty good example. Paradise Decay in the chat says we have a pancake backstabber in our midst because he noticed what I noticed, that every VR video has one thumbs down on it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I didn't want to let everybody know. I just put it there to, no, just kidding. How crazy would it be if it was just somebody that you know and you're like, what the hell?
Call of Duty's #1. Boo.
Yeah, there's no room for VR. I don't know. I'll go to a Call of Duty video and I'll thumb it up if it's good. So,
So what else do we have? We had Impulse Gear, right? The developers behind Farpoint. We said it maybe a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, when we learned that Farpoint was going to be the PS Plus title this month and that they were going to be giving it away. We said, well, we hope that isn't their news, right? Their uh, you know, news incoming that they told us about a month ago. And we found out this past week that indeed was not the news. They came out and they said that their next project, their next VR game is in fact going to launch this year in 2021. And then in addition to that, they leaked this weird logo image and audio clip, which is like just labeled decrypted transmission or something like that. And dude, that sounded weird, didn't it?
yeah, it was creepy, dude. Like you linked it to me and I was like, what the hell is this thing? I thought there was going to be some alien invasion or something, maybe in the Farpoint world. I don't know. We'll see. It was
Yeah,
definitely cryptic, right?
yeah, and I think that we can, if this does happen to come from a sequel to Farpoint, I think that we can assume from this that whatever the antagonist is for this game, it's going to be something really, really creepy, right? Because this thing, whatever it is that's talking uh, throughout this decrypted transmission, it sounds ominous.
Well, I'll tell you what. I was very confused by the ending of Farpoint. You know, as a lot of people were. There's a lot of debate exactly what happened. I'm hoping that there is a sequel and it totally makes you understand exactly why everything happened the way it did, why they had to do this or didn't have to do that type of thing, and really solidified the story because it was so good. And then at the end, I was like, what the hell? Not that it was bad, it was just didn't it. I didn't quite grasp exactly what they were trying to say, and maybe that was just me.
Well, the cool thing about it is that it's so open-ended. And we know that as creative as these people are, they could literally take that story in any direction now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to do it. I want to see. I want to use the new aim controller with Farpoint 2. How cool would that be?
We don't know that there's going to be a new aim controller, but the fact that they confirmed this for 2021 means that if it's a PSVR game, it's a PSVR 1 game. And I was thinking earlier today, man, that I'm kind of glad that, if there's going to be a Farpoint 2, that it's going to be a PSVR 1 game. And I think that this is probably the only game that could possibly come that I say, you know what? It's kind of better that this is on PSVR 1 because let's face it, in my opinion, the aim controller needs another proper game, right? A proper send off for the aim controller is needed. We need another great aim controller game before we relegate it to history because as after PSVR 2 gets here, then PSVR 1's going in the drawer, right? So I think of all games, of all sequels coming from the PSVR platform, I don't think that there's any that really the prospect excites me so much as a Farpoint 2, and that includes Resident Evil 8. I think I'm about as excited for Farpoint 2 as I could possibly be. And I think, again, that out of any games, this is probably the only one that I would be glad to get on PSVR 1 as
Yeah.
opposed to PSVR 2.
Well, and you don't have to wait. You're kind of like me. I wouldn't want to wait. If I had it, if I had PlayStation VR, I want to play it right now. I want to wait 2 years. But
Exactly.
yeah. So, and Paradise Decay was saying something to Greg's VR about. I guess Greg's VR got a Quest 2. He said the only thing he doesn't like is the native mic recording. I guess he's saying for standalone probably games. Correct? You can't record your mic on it, or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the comment that you're referring to, but yeah, that's only for standalone. Like if you're using Link, you absolutely can use your Oculus Quest mic to record on. And I've been doing that over the last couple of weeks. And dude, that thing sounds pretty damn good. I haven't been using my mod mic at all lately. I've only been using the onboard mic with my G2 and my Quest. And I was really surprised at how good the Quest mic actually sounds.
I know it's funny, because you were in the boat. Why I didn't end up. I sent my first mod mic back, but that's what I was going to tell Greg's VR. I think Paradise Decay suggested the mod mic, and that's what I was going to suggest as well. I got one here, and it works really well. Attach it onto your your Quest 2 or whatever you want to attach it to, even your headphones, and it's a really good quality solution. It's less.
Yeah.
I went through all sorts of different types of trying different things, and that's the easiest, best way. So
Yeah, high quality and versatile. It's like they made it for VR, even though it's just a general product for the masses. I think more people with Oculus Quest bought that thing than anybody else.
yeah, or Rift S as well, since the mic sucks.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it sucks. It's not as good as the Quest 2 mic, but that's for sure.
Well, it's the USB issue. It's the modulation. It's not the mic. The problem is the problem. It's the random robo weirdness that
Right.
happens. So
But PD says, I don't think we're getting a Farpoint 2. I think it's a new sci-fi IP. I'd be interested to know if you have any
inside
any
knowledge.
reason to think that other than
Ooh.
just a hunch. Because I at this point, I think it's a 50-50 thing, and I think it would be kind of odd for them to choose to go in that direction unless this isn't a Sony exclusive. I could see them going in another direction if this is a cross-platform game. And they did say, Ruuts, that when they put the initial job listings out for this game, they described it as, quote, redefining a AAA VR game. So I expect that whatever it is going to be extremely high quality and groundbreaking in the space.
Yeah, that's the thing. Before Farpoint came out, we didn't know what Farpoint was, and we accepted it and said, "Wow, this is good. I'm sure whatever they're doing is going to be good. Even if it's not Farpoint, might be better." And let's be realistic. Maybe Farpoint was never written to go any further.
So Paradise Decay giving a little winky face here. Apparently it's not just a hunch, Ruuts.
Oh, hey. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm excited for whatever they're working on. But like I was going to say, is I don't want to have a story continued on that was never meant to be continued on. And I'm not saying Farpoint was. It did leave it open, but sometimes things are supposed to be left open, and you leave it and you walk away and you think about it forever.
Yeah, and even if this isn't Farpoint 2, that doesn't mean that we won't get Farpoint 2. It just means we're not getting it right now.
No, I mean, it's over. It's done. No, just kidding.
Done
Yeah,
forever.
you're right. You're right. You're right.
So what else? Stride. We've kind of been a little harsh towards Joyway because over the last few months they delivered on their game, but they didn't deliver the game that they promised us, Ruuts. But they've been teasing over the last week on Twitter. They gave us just the tiniest little snip of gameplay of the story mode for Stride. And I got to say, Ruuts, this is exactly what I was hoping for when they announced this game.
Yeah, the gameplay definitely looks good. I want to know what the story is going to be like, but the fact that they're releasing it saying here's some story gameplay footage is good. I'm not going to sit there and every time something else comes out, bitch about something else. I'm just glad they're working on it. And like you said, hopefully it's soon, man. Hopefully we'll see this game, whatever's coming out for the storyline sooner than later. And it'll be fun to play.
Yeah, it looks fun, and you know, it really the environments look a lot better than the procedurally generated outdoors stuff that are in all the other modes. Right, that was really my biggest concern with uh, with the game was that it was just going to be that same aesthetic over and over and over and over again. But the environments look better here. The enemies look better here. Everything about the gameplay looks better here. I'm actually starting to get excited for this game again, just based on this little 10-second clip or whatever.
Are you going to play the modes that are out now? You're still going to wait for the story.
Oh, I'm no, I'm going to wait until we have the complete package here. But my optimism has taken a stark turn over the last couple of days based on this.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely look good for sure.
Of course, as we know, we all got PSVR Spotlight this past week. That was the first one in 6 months, and it did not disappoint. What we had, we finally got the reveal of what the upcoming id Project 2021A was, and it turned out to be Doom 3 VR. Which will launch as a PlayStation VR exclusive with AIM support. And, you know, Ruuts, I just said, you know, AIM needs a proper send off. Maybe this is the send off that I'm talking about. Maybe this is exactly what we need.
I think it is. I think I'm excited for Doom 3. And I think I'm going to be playing it through on the mod at some point because we've been talking about that. I've been getting excited. I love Doom. I didn't really wasn't a big Doom person until I played the one that we played, Doom VFR, and it was really good. So
Yeah, Doom VFR was outstanding. And of course, you know, even doubly excited for this one because our friends at Archiact are the ones that are developing this. And as you all know, I mean, talk about an OG VR studio. These guys have so much top-notch work under their belt. It's good to get to see them apply it on something as beloved a franchise as Doom. So awesome that this is coming to PSVR. Awesome that it's going to support aim controller. Awesome that it's coming from Archiact. My only question is, you know, it's interesting that this isn't called Doom 3 PSVR. It's called Doom 3 VR, which, you know, logical deduction would have you think, well, then it probably will come to other platforms at some later time. It is a Doom title, by the way. Why would Doom just pick one platform? That's a multi-platform game. Doom VFR was on all platforms, you know. But then again, you know, Doom 3, it's already been modded into VR, you know, on the other major platforms. So it makes you wonder, you know, if you're going to pick a Doom title to go multi-plat with, why would you pick the one that everybody has already played? Now, that being said, I mean, there's going to be plenty to offer here. I mean, there's new sounds, there's new textures, new shaders. I mean, they remade the thing. It's going to be absolutely stunning in VR. I
professionally
imagine that it's,
done. It's going to look better.
yeah,
It's going to run better. I mean, not that the mods don't run good or aren't really good. It's like GTA 5, even though I've been enjoying the Luke Ross mod. And I mean, really enjoying the hell out of playing the game in VR, right? If it came out on like professionally done mod, or I guess it wouldn't even be a mod, like built from the ground up, I'm buying it, and everybody else is. I don't even care if people have played through it, and it's different with that. The mods, not everybody's mod savvy, they hear mod. It doesn't matter if it's the easiest mod in the world, like the Alien Isolation, where you drag one file over. Oh, you got to mod it? No, I'm out. I don't. I've already tuned out before you even explain to me how it's easy, and so I think, maybe they don't. I don't know. It's a lot easier, I would imagine, to port something over that's than do something new. I don't know.
Diz the Game Cat say Doom 3 is rumored to only be $20. That would be amazing if that were true. I'll submit that this is a $30 game all day, and if they don't charge 34, I'll be shocked.
Okay. Well, Paradise Decay Traveling Man was asking if he wants some tips on that inside gaming information, and Paradise Decay said that if you look closely, there are clues. That's all he's allowed to say. He's sworn to secrecy. And then I said to Paradise Decay that I will sick Wes on it. He will decipher the clues, and he will tell us all what the hell is going on, because you're good at those clues.
Well, I'll tell you what I will do is I'll do some research and see if anyone has decrypted this publicly or not. But because I'm not one of these code breaker type dudes that like. I mean, sometimes these game studios get creative with the way that they decrypt information or encrypt rather
Mm.
information, and you've got to be like some really savvy tech guy programmer almost to figure it out and decrypt it. I'm not that guy,
Mm.
but what I can do is I can take to the internet. I can search the 4chans of the world and see if anyone's sharing this information and you know come back with it in that way. But I don't know. I don't know. I remain skeptical. I still say that this might be Farpoint 2. But I haven't seen the preponderance of evidence yet, so we shall see.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So we were talking about Doom. Oh, Greg's VR says wielding a chainsaw in Doom 3 with the aim controller and those haptics, it's going to be awesome, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, just having the aim controller in general. That's just done so well. And like I said on the PlayStation VR, it's the best way to do any locomotion game. You actually have the joystick, everything's built in. You have the superior controller that you want to use anyway. That's the only way I would want to play it. So
Yeah, absolutely. So then, shortly after we got the announcement for Doom 3, we learned what comes next for In Dreams. And, people were speculating last week that there may be a sequel coming to Phantom Covert Ops based on some of the things In Dreams was doing in their social media feed. Turned out not to be the
mm.
case at all. But we learned about Fracked, which is a title that I would say is just as off the wall and outside the box as Phantom Covert Ops, if not more so, right?
Absolutely. Well, my thing is I don't, I've done the maneuvering in a kayak, shooting as a stealth shooter. I want something different. Well, here we go. So I think it looks better. I mean, I want to go skiing. I want to be James Bond. It felt James Bond-esque, right? Very fast, like this parkour. The action was really fast paced, right? And that's what we want. At least that's what I want. It doesn't look like it's necessarily a stealth game per se. It looks more like just a shooter. I love stealth, but I don't want to play every game as a stealth game. Some games I want to go through and yeah, maybe you can. I would love to play a game that actually penalizes you for going stealth. You could do it, but it's going to take you way longer. Like you got to go all the way around the back, bro. Ruuts is going to go right through the middle. He's going to cut that out and just knock it out quick. That would be cool.
Yeah, Fracked basically looks like the polar opposite of Phantom Covert Ops in terms of gameplay style, right? As you mentioned, Phantom Covert Ops is a slow paced stealth game with some shooting mechanics and other really cool, really immersive things in that game. Really one of my favorite titles of last year. But this is completely opposite. This is fast paced, skiing, downhill, climbing, and then it's a shoot 'em up at its heart. So again, even though it is outside the box, like Phantom Covert Ops, the comparisons pretty much stop there. And I really look forward to playing this uh, next title from In Dreams. And from all indications, this really is a true PlayStation VR exclusive. I do not expect that we'll ever see this game on any other platforms.
What? Well, hey, you get your PlayStation VR, bro. You're gonna miss out. You know?
That's how it goes, right? I mean, if you don't have all of the major VR platforms, then you're going to miss out on something at some point.
Yeah. Well, we had a good run. There was a little while there where that wasn't the case for the most part. I mean, if you had a PC VR, you could get most of it. You missed out on a few PlayStation VR exclusives, right? And that was it. Now you're missing out on Quest stuff. You're missing out on PlayStation VR stuff. The PlayStation VR people are salivating about all the games that PC VR have, and it's like just round and round you go. Just get them all. That's all you need.
Yep. That's all I need, bro.
Sell a kidney.
Right. And then of course we talked about Song in the Smoke on Wednesday as well. Another game from the PlayStation VR Spotlight, but this one confirmed to be coming to the Oculus platform as well very soon. At first, a little off-putting with the obvious survival elements to the gameplay, but what they're doing there with the art and the storyline really pulled me back in by the end of the trailer, and now has me anxious to see what this game's all about.
Yeah, you're gonna be eating all the time, bro. Searching for food. Need some water.
Damn, I'm thirsty.
Damn, I'm thirsty, man. I am super thirsty.
And then I Expect You to Die Too, which is a title that had already been announced the week prior, confirmed PlayStation VR support. This really my biggest disappointment, really my only disappointment with the entire PlayStation VR Spotlight. We already knew about this game. We didn't really see anything from the trailer that we hadn't already seen before. And I mean, everybody already knew that this would come out on every platform, right? So really, this was just kind of a space holder, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was excited. Are you gonna play through it on the PC or Quest?
I am excited to play through it. I mean, the first one, still holds up to this day. It's a fun game, but
oh, you consider it a game? It's not a tech demo?
Yeah, it's absolutely a game. Yeah, it's 100%
Scion said it was a tech demo like a week ago. I told him, you're crazy, bro.
It's a polished tech demo, man.
Yeah,
highly polished tech
dude,
demo.
they put so much DLC into that for free, right? That was a really good title.
Yeah, I may not have felt the same about it when it first launched. I didn't play it back then. By the time I got into this game, it was nearly finished. And as it stands, I mean, there's hours of content in it. It's one of the best escape the room type puzzle games in VR. It's got some of the best. It's a classic title. I don't really know how you can dismiss it as anything less.
I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not. It's not that I'm not excited for the sequel to the game. Of course, I'll check it out. I was just kind of surprised that Sony featured it the way that they did. I really was expecting a reveal for the Impulse Gear game, or finally getting confirmation of Resident Evil 8. For the first time, I'm actually concerned that it may be a while before we get Resident Evil 8 VR, based on the fact that they didn't reveal it this past week. So, a little surprised to see.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So a little surprised to see I Expect You to Die Too instead of Resident Evil 8 in that spot.
Well, hopefully, maybe at the last minute they pulled it for whatever reason. I don't know. Like you said, that could have just been a space holder. Like, oh wait, we technically haven't announced PlayStation VR. We can say this is news. We'll just slide it out there. Nobody will get it except for Wes, and he's going to talk about it on his news.
So so as far as Resident Evil 8 goes, I'm holding out hope. There's a Resident Evil event at some point late next month. If we don't get an announcement during that thing, that I'm pretty much going to lose hope that we're going to see that this year, which would be extremely unfortunate.
Yeah, well, and then like I said, do you play through it regular flat at that point, or do you still wait?
No, I'm not going to play it flat. I will not play it flat.
Hmm.
I think it's funny too, while we're on the subject of PlayStation VR, I think it's funny just how quickly everyone's tune changes with regards to PlayStation VR, specifically Upload VR. As you know, for the majority of the last 6 months, Upload VR have been very harsh with regards to PlayStation VR, just constant hit pieces and worst case doomsday scenarios when it comes to PlayStation VR. And then Hitman 3 comes out, and immediately their tune begins to change. all of a sudden they go from doom and gloom with PlayStation VR to remembering, oh yeah, the games make this platform. So all of a sudden they change their tune. They start to ratchet up the pressure on Sony to, address VR and the future of VR on the PlayStation platform. The mainstream media follows suit in starting to ask these questions, and it doesn't take long before Sony responds, right? And they come out and, again, they don't reveal a whole lot, but they reaffirm their commitment to VR, which was all that we needed to know, right? Is that they're still with us. And then from that point forward, it's just been, jubilation with regards to PSVR. I'm looking at Upload today, and they've ranked every PSVR exclusive on there now. They've they put a brand new review of Resident Evil 7 VR up for PlayStation VR. I mean, the game came out 3 years ago, and they're doing a review again today. I mean, it's crazy just the 180 that Upload has done pretty much since Hitman 3 was released.
Yeah, it's not just Upload, and that was the start of Hitman 3, and then just some of this news, and now people are, that we know personally, are acting like, oh man, I never said PlayStation VR was dead, bro. I was just saying the console, that iteration, that version was dead, and it's just a lot of backpedaling, and it's amazing to me because it wasn't even a month or two ago that out of these lips, I literally was saying that it was crazy to me that people are just assuming that Sony is just giving up on their platform after all the success of the first round, that they're like, yeah, this is it, bro. Sorry, we're just, for whatever reason, there was never a reason given either. That's what's funny about the date, the 2021 weirdness is like, you don't even need any information, no sources. We're just gonna run with it, bro. We're gonna believe it, and it's dead, and we're gonna see what's, it's like waking up at nighttime and believing the sun's never gonna rise. Well, just wait a couple hours, bro. It's coming. I think it's just bizarre to me.
Yeah, PlayStation VR all of a sudden back from the dead. And speaking of back from the dead, we got news from HTC this past week, Ruuts. They're they're puffing their chest out and acting like they've got something fucking groundbreaking. Like they're acting like they're getting ready to drop the bomb on everybody. So I'm wondering, Roots, what they've got here. Maybe it's this small form factor puck based or smartphone based 2-in-1 or all in two VR that they were talking about at CES this past uh, month, or I guess 2 months ago at this point. Maybe they're going to beat everybody to market with the VR goggles, the actual goggles, and instead of the big headset. Whatever it is, they're acting like they've really got something here. And what all I'm wondering is, have they learned their lessons?
Mm.
Have they learned that they shouldn't put out a product if it's got something terribly wrong with it, like bad tracking that Cosmos had? And have they learned that people are going to hate them if they, if they price gouge? I'm hopeful, Roots. I'm literally hopeful that that this HTC upcoming product is something that absolutely makes Oculus Quest 2 look shameful, or at least is good enough to compete with it.
Yeah, there's the hope out there. That's what I was saying in the Discord yesterday. My memory remembers 2 or 3 different times this exact scenarios came up. Doesn't mean that they can't, just because of what they've done in the past. But when your customer service is pretty much saying, "Hey, you dipshit, fuck you, come over here, buy my stuff." It's like at some point there's a lot of things they got to change. One of them is their pricing. The other is the quality of what they've been doing. Everybody points to the Vive, OG Vive Pro. Well, that was Index. That was Valve. Well, not Index. That was Valve that created those, correct? Cosmos, Focus. That was HTC. So I don't have as much faith in that company as a lot of people do. I do want to see something, something that would compete, even if it was a little bit more expensive. Just make it technologically advanced to the Quest 2. Make Oculus kind of think, ooh, we need to do something. Give something to the people that would pay an extra $100, $200, or maybe pay $1,000 for this mobile headset that's just like the Quest but better. But the beauty is you're not tied to Facebook. That would serve a niche, right? I might not buy it for that kind of price, but my instinct is it's going to be just another product that we don't need or want, and it's attached to a company I don't want to do business with. You know what I mean? You ever done business with a company or gone to a restaurant that you've just left and you're like, I'm never coming to this place again? I've heard the rumors about that restaurant called HTC, and I don't want to go there. You know what I mean? Like I've heard the food is poison, bro. I've heard you'll get food poisoning. So I try to stay away from certain companies unless they can prove to me that they're worthy of my my money. So
Well, here's the thing. They can they can fail repeatedly over and over again and miserably, but all it's going to take is one product that's got a compelling feature set at an affordable price, and people are going to buy it and people are going to love it.
true.
So that, I mean, they can fuck up endlessly, but VR enthusiasts are as such that we always want the best thing, and if their thing is the best thing, then we're going to get it. We're not ever going to write them off completely.
There's a lot of HTC fanboys, and that would love to buy anything that they put out. And I'm not opposed to getting something if it's a good product. It's just my thing is I've and this is just in life and anything. I'm very reluctant to so I feel like I'm like the battered wife, and my husband that's been beating me up has been all these retailers that have really shitty customer service. And so all I got to do is hear that somebody's got customer service problems and I flinch. You know what I mean? So I'm very reluctant to want to get into a relationship with these companies, no matter how good the product is. And it doesn't matter. I mean, I would imagine that if something was good enough, maybe I might change my tune, but I don't know. That's my trepidation is really the customer service. And maybe I'm making it out to be worse than it is. Cause I never dealt with them, but just from what I've read, and that's one of the good things about Oculus. They may make you jump through a lot of hoops, but it's very rare that they tell you, screw you. Usually they'll even give you something out of warranty. So
But let me paint a little picture for you here, Roots, and tell me what you would think of this. HTC releases a standalone or maybe even an all-in-two device that's the most comfortable standalone VR headset that we've ever seen. It's got slightly better specs than Oculus Quest 2. You can get it for less than $600, and they support it with Viport Infinity. So this means standalone VR titles as a part of Infinity in your new HTC standalone headset. Wouldn't that be an amazing value proposition?
yeah, can I sweeten the pot? One more thing that could probably really legitimately make me want to come over is, like, for whatever reason they decide it's logical, which I think it is logical, to have your link cable include a display port adapter as well as USB. I'm there, dude. Like, cause I still don't understand that. To me, that's one of the biggest weird things to me is, like, you could have a single cord that splits into the two, right? And then you're not running everything through one thing. It's just very bizarre.
And then let's say, we all know that Cosmos struggled with inside out tracking. Let's say they use that magnetic tracking like the Pico Neo uses, which is supposedly extremely accurate. You could be like Scion holding stuff behind your back all the live long day, and it's never going to lose tracking. They could very, feasibly do something like that with their next generation headset, couldn't they?
They could, yeah. And I'm not doubting. The thing is, every company can have a phenomenal team of people, and who knows what HTC has been working on. My instinct just from the Cosmos and the Focus releases is to not believe it, because both of those were touted to be these amazing things and they just fell flat. But that being said, like you said, especially when you seem to have the endless amount of money that you can just flush down the toilet, and eventually something's going to stick, right? You're going to get it right eventually, and then it can turn around and start making money for you.
Well, let me tell you, dude, if they sold 100 Vive Pros, then they've got all the funding they need to fund their company into the next 5 years. That
Oh,
thing was crazy expensive.
yeah, that's crazy. But I
Anyway,
mean, there is definitely a market for high end stuff, and like Technoglitch said, and a lot of people would feel this way. He would pay double, to not have Facebook attached to his headset, and I don't know if I'd pay double, but I share that sentiment. I don't like, um, being attached to Facebook's policies, but it is what it is.
yeah, exactly. It is what it is. That's exactly right. And I don't want to get off on that. We've beat that horse to death already. Um, But what I will do is I'll get on with our news, man.
Oh yeah.
These are just all of the things that we're not talking about this week. Stuff that we covered on Wednesday, stuff that we're not really going to go into too in depth on. Just a friggin' mind blowing amount of news, and we've got so much more that we're going to be talking about. We may pick up the pace a little bit because if we don't, I mean, we're going to be here. It's going to be like 2020 show part two. Only we're not doing giveaways. Um, we may try to speed through a little bit of this. But before we do any of that, let's kick it off the way that we always do by saying hello to our friends in chat. Mepper, Techno Glitch, Onakazi showing up as always.
Midlife Kid, what's up? I don't remember seeing that name. I'm sure I've seen it before, but how you doing?
Yeah, I'm just reading a message that I've got from Paradise Decay regarding this Farpoint thing. He's just basically linked me to everything we just talked about when we started talking about Farpoint with the interesting new logo and the sound bite with the weird decrypted transmission. Like that's the stuff that we just talked about. So maybe there's some more information in there. I don't
Well,
know.
so you gotta look for the clues, bro. Gotta be a
I guess
detective
so.
sleuth.
Um, but yeah, PD in chat, Technoglitch, Midlife Kid, Onakazi, Mepper, hello, Radio Runt, Diz the Game Cat, Greg's VR. Wow, man. So much to Drew in the chat. So much to get into this week. I guess we shouldn't delay. Hello, Eric, Mash Daddy in the chat, Scion in the chat. Hello, friends. Let's talk about the game that everybody wants to talk about. The game everybody pretty much wanted us to talk about on Wednesday, but we didn't get around to it. The game that we pretty much singled out on the 2020 show as our most anticipated release of 2021. After the fall, Vertigo Games has confirmed that its co-op shooter After the Fall will see a multi-platform release this summer. Originally scheduled for a 2020 launch, after its unveiling in 2019, Vertigo Games had to push the release back due to remote working. Built to provide full cross-platform multiplayer for up to 4 players, After the Fall is set in a post-apocalyptic LA where the team have to fight a range of mutated monsters called Snowbreed in order to survive. They'll be able to find normal weapons in amongst the ruins, as well as components to upgrade and make new ones. And if there aren't enough players, then AI companions will be dropped in to fill the gaps. So we did learn a little something about After the Fall this week, Roots. And what we learned was this game is very multiplayer oriented. The multiplayer is said to be fully cross platform. So they're going to release on all major VR platforms at once, and everyone's going to be able to play together. It's a story driven arcade style game. And the story is even kind of, built around the cast of 4, right? There's 4 characters that are interacting in the story. And these 4 characters are so integral to the story that if you don't have 4 players to play, the game will just plug AI into one of them so that you can continue to progress through the story. Roots, I mean, how many times have we said it? We want co-op campaigns. It looks like Vertigo Games is going to give us our wish.
Yeah. Well, and one of the biggest things that makes me really excited about just the way that this is all coming out is the fact that you said that if somebody's not there, if there's not enough players, the AI is going to fill in the story campaign. That tells me that the whole campaign is designed around four people, whether they're AI or your friends. It's not well, we got this campaign, we're going to add an extra bit for you and your friends, or this one room, this one level, we're going to give you a taste of it. No, this game is built from the ground up for four people around co-op or multiplayer. Um, and I think it was Onikazi. I think we was saying that, I forgot it was a comment that I read up here. Oh, I'll get it here in a second, but he was making a comment about, he said that if it looked from the trailer, the way the trailer looks, it makes it looking like it, Left 4 Dead VR, right? Looks amazing.
Yeah, major Left 4 Dead vibes coming here, actually. And I think it's an interesting twist on it, right? Because it's set in California, post-apocalyptic Los Angeles, and it's snowy, and they kind of really lean into the whole frozen aspect of it. So what I'm wondering here is this like nuclear winter, or is it just that it snowed in LA and all of these people just perished because they didn't know how to deal with it?
Their power plant went down and they got frozen, died. I'll tell you what, man, I'm leaning towards nuclear, man. All these post-apocalyptic, I mean, the buildings sure look like that's what happened to me. Looks like they went through some kind of a harsh explosion of some sort, right?
Yeah, well, it's an explosion of homeless people is what's going on there right now. So
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's what. I'm not going to go there. But I'll tell you what, this game looks amazing to me, and until we saw the footage. Now, this isn't gameplay footage. This is cinematic, so I still want to see gameplay. But this. I mean, obviously, the cinematic of the story and everything is look amazing. So I imagine the gameplay will be as well.
yeah, and we're gonna get gameplay um, on this real soon. And we've talked to a few people that played the early alpha versions of the game who said that it was really good then. So I got to imagine that it's only gotten better since then. Um, what time is it?
Quote time. Actually,
It is quote time.
oh, sorry.
Quote time. Yeah, it's quote time. This is Richard Stitzelar, the studio director at Vertigo Games. Quote, since the early concept phase, after the fall has been all about having VR gamers team up together, regardless of the device that they play on, through full cross platform multiplayer functionality. In a time of widespread social isolation, it feels like that goal now has additional relevance. We're truly excited about moving into this next campaign phase, in which we'll be inviting more players into the game and sharing more details as we gear up towards launch. So, Ruuts, what he's saying is, I mean, they initially set out to kind of lean into the multiplayer. I mean, that was one of the things Arizona Sunshine did best. And then the world just kind of changed around it. And I mean, they were just so perfectly placed in the current climate that their game is going to be even more relevant now based on decisions that they made years ago. And there has been some limited beta testing with this game up until this point, which is getting ready to expand actually. And they're going to be inviting quite a few more people into the beta to test out this cross-platform multiplayer system that they've put together here. I can't wait to check this thing out. I think it looks like a step up in every category from Arizona Sunshine, and Arizona Sunshine is a game that I still enjoy today.
Yeah, no, Arizona Sunshine was really, or is still really good. So much so that even after the platforms of Quest 2 came out, we were blown away at how it still was better than a lot of the zombie games, right? So you add a really good story. I mean, I don't know. For me, man, just being chased by 20, 30 zombies, that's a different feel, dude, than a couple of them stumbling towards you. I just think that this is going to be creepy as hell. I think there's no way you could get Radio Run or Scion into this game under any circumstances, and then that means that it's perfect for me. It looks really good.
Yeah, kind of looks like it might be like a looter shooter type deal, like a Borderlands that was legit made for VR, and except everything's frozen, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I guess the early stage levels in Borderlands 2 were frozen. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
anyway, super pumped. This game revealed during the PlayStation VR Spotlight last week to be coming this summer. So if they don't delay it again, I expect that this time we're actually going to get it. Then we don't have that long to wait, just a few more months, and we're going to have this one in our hands, regardless of what platform you play on. Now, they haven't confirmed Quest standalone
Mm.
uh, uh, support for this yet, but I mean, it's interesting how long it's taken them to get this title to us, right? They first revealed it 2 years ago, and we still don't have it yet. You thinking that they've been low key developing a Quest version of this in the background?
They have to be. I mean, with as many people that are blowing up on Quest. I was just reading the Best Buy comments of Quest 2's, both versions, because I've been thinking about getting one, trying to convince myself to get one again. And so I was looking at it, and people, dude, these stories of people are like, I don't, I'm not even into gaming anymore. I got the Quest 2. I was expected to not like it, to feel sick. I loved it. I bought my wife one. We got our 3 kids one. We now have 5 of them in the house. I mean, and it was across the board, story after story after story. And so I think this whole thing is blowing up, I think, bigger than we even know right now. Yesterday morning there was 3 quests in town. They were gone before noon. To where, because I was thinking about going down and paying cash for it so that I could be an easy swap if I needed to. But I couldn't because somebody snatched them up so quick, bro. Uh, so
Yeah,
crazy.
I've seen them in stock at Walmart here twice since November, and just yesterday, the third time. So they're in stock right now, unless they've sold them since yesterday. 6 of them they had. I've never seen 6 of them since November in there. They had 6 of the 64 gigabyte variant in stock at Walmart. It
Well,
was
that tells you they're
kind of
selling a
crazy.
lot, right?
Yeah. Well, the people there tell you they sell them as soon as they get them. I guarantee you those 6 won't last a week. Like this time next week on the show, if someone asks me, I'll tell you that they're gone. I'm going to be quite confident that they're going to sell those.
Well, this is the thing. We're so used to tech jumps and everything being so ordinary, but this is like something so different that when people try it for the first time, even if they've heard about it, maybe they never heard of VR, it blows people away so much so that they want to run and tell everybody about it, right? Or they run out and get one and then they show their friends. It's got that chain reaction that's just already starting to get out of control. I am being chased, Archangel, in my background backwards. So but yeah,
Yeah,
so
such an amazing device. This second iteration of Oculus Quest, way superior to the first one. Um,
I was thinking about that, Wes. I was thinking about that last night in the shower, actually, and it's kind of funny, because uh, it didn't make sense to me. The Quest One, they didn't really advertise, they didn't push it. I think that they didn't. I believe they knew that it was good, but it wasn't that good enough to for the masses to really grab onto, and so they put it out there. They advertised what they needed to, and they let it do its thing. But the second iteration, they knew this is going to drop jaws, and we're just going to full out advertise. This is when we want everybody to focus on us, not in the beginning. Now is the time for everybody to find out about VR, and I think they're right. So
yeah, it's this is what happens, right? When you get a second iteration of something, people learn from their experience. And this is why I'm so excited for PlayStation VR 2. Do I think that, the PSVR 2 headset is going to just completely smoke whatever the PCVR headset of the day is in terms of sheer specs? No, I don't. But I think that what Sony was trying to convey with their with their announcements last week was that they're learning from their mistakes. You know, they're going to they're going to take what we've said about PSVR 1 and they're going to fix that stuff. We said we didn't like the big, wire mess. They said, well, okay, how about one wire? They said that we don't like the tracking and the controllers. They're going to say, well, we're going to give you the best controllers and we're going to give you great tracking. We say it's blurry. They say more resolution and hey, have some more field of view in the HDR while you're at it. You know what I mean? It's not that it's going to be this technically superior headset to everything that's available in the world at that point. But what it's going to be is head and shoulders above the first iteration. And it's going to, again, be supported by next generation AAA games. And for that reason, I'm super hyped with it. I'm super hyped for whatever Oculus Quest 3 is going to be. And I'm just excited in general for the direction that VR is going. It's smoking hot right now. Everybody wants it. More people are buying into it. And I can't imagine where we're going to be at by the time 2023 and 2024 rolls around.
Yeah, the biggest thing is that VR's got the attention of the big wigs, the big company heads, right? And they know that the future. They say, "Oh shit, this is blowing up." So we do want to be on board. So I'm expecting. When do you think we'll hear Xbox get into the game?
I don't think it'll be long, man. I don't know. I don't know exactly when they're going to support VR with the actual Xbox. But outside of Xbox, you can see Microsoft embracing it more and more and more. So I got to imagine that it will be this generation. I think that the Xbox Series X will support VR at some point this generation. Whether that means that Microsoft releases their own peripheral or if they support WMR, time will only tell with that. But I think Reverb G2 would be like a perfect thing for them to support with it. It's a great, very capable headset. It's got the best screens on the market. I mean, they could really one up Sony in a few ways if they make Reverb G2 like their official headset and tailor their support, their software support to it. I think it would be beneficial not only for Xbox but for the G2 itself as well.
I'd like it to be Windows Mixed Reality exclusive. Like give people a reason to get those Windows Mixed Reality, so you can use it on the Xbox, right? That'd be pretty cool.
I'm gonna cause you asking what the fuck is with that beginning typo? Did I misspell something? I don't know. I thought I got it right.
What typo?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about. Gamer Chick joining us. I was starting to wonder, Tiffany. I felt alone when you weren't here, but now you're here, and I feel so much better now.
I felt like we pissed her off somehow. I was like, what did I say? I'm sorry, Tiffany.
We were talking about another zombie game, man. It's like we were cheating on her.
We were cheating on her a little bit, but to be fair, we've said we want Saints and Sinners 4-player co-op. Oh wait, that's a different game. I do.
It's called After the Fall.
Yeah, well, I'll throw this out there right now. I want to play this game with you, Tiffany. That would be cool. We could slay some zombies together.
It'd be cool to go on location with Tiffany in any number of games. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, looking forward to After the Fall. Not going to have to wait long. Glad that it's true cross-platform multiplayer co-op campaign. I mean, this is what we ask every game for, right? Every game that comes out, we ask for this. What are we going to ask the Vertigo Games for now, Ruuts? I mean, they're literally giving us the game that we asked for.
I'll advance copy of it would be good. This is the game I wanted, man. This is the game I would love to have had from a Left 4 Dead series, and we're not at the point to get Left 4 Dead. This is Left 4 Dead that we're getting, and it looks amazing. So,
yeah, Onakazi was talking about his own typo in a previous comment. That's what he's talking about. Anyway, Ruuts, did we mention that we like true cross-platform multiplayer games?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's great because we learned a little bit more this past week about Demeo. Resolution Games has shared a few more details about its upcoming turn-based dungeon crawler Demeo. Demeo is very much like classic Dungeons and Dragons, where a team of players enter a grim medieval dungeon and fight their way through hordes of adversaries. Supporting up to 4 people multiplayer co-op, the video showcases a game being played in a basement with the players looking down on the action. Players will be able to select from a band of heroes, either a guardian, a sorcerer, an assassin, or a hunter, each with their own particular attributes to aid in the journey. They'll also have special ability cards gathered from treasure chests to combine with the regular attacks to make them more potent. Um, Here we are, Roots. You know, we got a teaser of this recently, and everybody just kind of lost their shit when they saw it. Now we're actually getting to see more of the gameplay, and I gotta say, man, this is not what I was expecting from their first trailer to the next. This is like a legit tabletop. You know, I thought that they were just adapting a tabletop favorite into VR. They're adapting the whole table and everything into VR.
Yeah, yeah. This is remember that game Table of Tales, the PlayStation VR exclusive that I said I really loved. This has got very similar vibes to me, except for you get to do it with 3 other players. And it looks super cool to me. The only thing that, and I don't know how this is all going to work. Hopefully you shrink down and you're in those things, because I've said this before about a game just like this, except for the only person looking down would be the dungeon master, and he's deciding what's happening to the people in there, and the people that are in there are watching all the stuff happen around them. So hopefully you'll be able to zoom down into the game to some extent. But even if this is just a true tabletop game that you're watching from above, Dungeons and Dragons style, it looks amazing, and hopefully there'll be like DLC or different stories. And one of the best things that would be cool, and I'm sure this is the case, but like most of these games, your decisions will shape the direction of what's going to happen, right? And your rolls, obviously. I mean, you might roll a good roll and you get past this monster, and maybe you don't. There's a lot of questions I have. Do you permadeath? That would be cool if, like, when you die, you're out and you're trying to get through, or is it something that you respawn? Your people have to resurrect you. I have a lot of questions about this game, but all of them are good questions, because it doesn't matter how it unfolds. It looks amazing to me. So
Yeah, I think we're going to be bouncing back and forth. I think that you're going to play the game primarily as a tabletop game, but whenever you make your moves or whatever, and some action unfolds, I think it's going to kind of zoom you down into it and let you view it from the ground level, which is a cool concept, to say the least.
well, just everything, just like everything that resolution games, it's just something outside the box, right? Each game seems to be a little bit different, and this is I don't know, man. There's just so many possibilities in virtual reality, and we all have our favorite types of genres. And this is the closest that I've seen to dungeon being in Dungeons and Dragons, and it's just a stepping stone to getting different iterations of this type of game. And I can't wait to play this game. I see myself on the left. I see Scion VR next to me, the elf. It's going to be our gauntlet crew. We're going to go in there. We're going to wreck this place. So
It's a very good looking game too, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, it looks really cool. And I think that's what's going to be kind of cool too, is like, even, as much as I say I want to get into the game and I want to see everything up close and see all the environments, one of the things that we say is so cool, and I totally will be in this case, is the sense of scale, right? Seeing all those things acting out what's happening in front of you on this little table in front of you, I think will be really cool. And I think that aspect of it shouldn't be lost either. So
I absolutely agree. Demeo expected to launch later this year for Oculus Quest and Rift, and Steam for Valve Index and HTC Vive. To ensure maximum support for as many players as possible, a non-VR version for PC will also be released
ooh.
for cross-platform multiplayer gameplay. Roots, up to 4-player cross-platform multiplayer co-op. Again, from another game. What are we going to ask these guys for?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, that's very smart too. From a lot of, this is really good for VR, bro. Like, not everybody has a headset, but I want to play Dungeons and Dragons well, hey, dude, come check this out. There's this game that I've been playing in VR. You don't have to be in VR. We play it. We both have a lot of fun, but I'm starting to envy you, bro, because you're in the game and I'm like looking at the screen, and then it gets me to buy the game. So it's going to be good for VR in that respect as well. So,
And what about Resolution Games, man? I'm really digging what they're doing. You know, they came onto the VR scene years back as uh, kind of this company that brings in mobile gaming into VR. So, like, I mean, great games. Don't get me wrong. When you talk about Angry Birds, Isle of Pigs VR, and you're talking about Akron, you're talking about what was that? They did a cooking game, Cookout or whatever.
yeah.
Um, you know, all great, very fun games. But over the last year, you're seeing them start to pivot a little bit into, you know, Meteor, something games that you can sink your teeth into. They brought out Blast On, which is a 1v1 duel game. It's a dueling game, a shooter game. From Resolution did a shooter game, Ruuts, and now they're doing a dungeon crawler. And you know, it's this cool, you know, tabletop VR blend that they're going on here, or that they're bringing in here rather. Um, really impressed with what Resolution Games is doing as a studio, and I got to imagine that the onset of the Oculus Quest era has really meant big things for them in terms of you know, not only having a platform to reach people with their casual party games, but their new stuff as well, and not to mention all of the funding that I'm sure is coming in from the, you know, all of their games are on Quest. I mean, you can't say that about any other platform, but all of their games are on Quest.
I just like their focus. Their focus is bringing people together to play games, and you know, in a multiplayer fashion. And I think that, you know, especially with all the weirdness of the world, it's good. It's a good thing to bring people together, even if it's virtually or in VR or outside of VR. So
Yeah, I always used to, you know, rave about Resolution having found their niche. And as soon as I start saying that, what do? They pivot and decide that they want to come and give us something a little bit more substantial. And good on them, man. This thing looks pretty cool.
yeah,
I know Radio Run's pretty psyched about it.
yeah. I think there's a lot of people. Tiffany said if this turns out to be a mix between Magic the Gathering and what is it? She had three other games. She said she's going to be hounding all of us to play. So
Oh, hey, I'm down, bro. I'll play this game. And then, you know, since since Angry Birds, I mean, I haven't really been super hyped on any of their games. I mean, they all look pretty fun, you know, a casual good time, but nothing that I'm absolutely salivating at until like this one. I mean, this one looks amazing.
I'm hoping that if, as long as, and this is the thing, if if the stories are just amazing and compelling, this game is a no brainer. It's going to just blow up. It's got to be, the story's got to be good. So Resolution Games, make sure your story writers are amazing, and we'll be good to go. That was one of the things that was cool about Table of Tales, is the story was actually really compelling as well.
D-Real joining the chat says, I played enough Satan that I didn't get the VR
Mhm.
version, but I'm sure that it's cool.
Satan.
Oh, it's I'm sorry, that's Catan. I'm sorry, keep forgetting that's a hard C, Roots.
Well, you guys,
Catan.
it's easy to remember or forget that when you know it's attached to Scion VR. He's a big fan of Satan. I mean, Catan VR.
Yeah, I heard that Scion is a Satan worshiper.
Yeah.
Anyway, Roots, did I mention that we like cross-platform co-op multiplayer?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, that's good because following a successful 2019 Kickstarter for Zenith, The Last City, which raised $280,000, independent studio Ramen VR has released a new trailer and confirmed that the game will launch on PlayStation VR and Quest, in addition to PC VR and flat PC. Zenith is an anime inspired VR MMORPG that's built specifically for VR and includes crossplay between the platforms. Ramen VR says that the new trailer is a look at what players can expect from Zenith's upcoming closed alpha, which is expected this year. The studio has promised to reveal a firm release date in the next week or so. Anyone interested in the Zenith Alpha can guarantee access by pre ordering the game on March 10th. The Alpha will be available on PC VR and Quest, but not PlayStation VR.
Hmm.
While the prior closed alpha, while the prior closed pre-alpha versions of the game have required that players sign an NDA to avoid leaks, in the upcoming closed alpha, players will be allowed to share their experience through external media, even if access to the alpha is gated. So this is a game we've reported on a few times, not only when it launched into Kickstarter, but just based on the fact that, the environments in this game look really cool, and the promises that they're making for it are very ambitious. I got to say, Ruuts, this was probably the shock of the PSVR Spotlight to me, is that this game was included with it, because this was a small indie game, that came from a Kickstarter and a small studio. To see Sony get behind this game like that and promote it this way really says a lot to me about this game and the state that it must be in, right? For Sony to go ahead and guarantee that this game is going to have a place on their platform to begin with is a big deal. But for Sony to promote it the way that they did this past week is an even bigger deal. And it's got me curious as to how this game is going to actually turn out.
What was the name of that one that had an early Kickstarter? I don't know if it was Kickstarter, but it was MMO that I bought, that I tried, and it was all janky. It's still out there. I can't remember what the name.
You're talking about Nostos.
Yeah, Nostos. Okay, so that's why I had the same hopes for Nostos, and I obviously this is not Nostos. I can already tell just from what I've seen from this gameplay footage. I went into the onto the YouTube video today of the video that you linked that we're watching here. I think it's this video, and I just dropped one seed, Wes, just one seed in the comments and walked away. It was this. I asked him, is there going to be healing? And I left. Just walking away from the table. I want a healing class. Until there's a healing class, I don't consider it a true MMO RPG. Hopefully they heard my seed and people will jump on that. But it does look amazing, and it's kind of cool from a lot of standpoint. There's a big following of anime. I'm not a big anime person, but there's people that love anime, and a lot of people on the PlayStation platform. Millions of people that love anime. So the fact that this is even going to be considered to be on that system is really good for the game in general, for everybody. All the PC people that have bitched about PlayStation VR or whatever, this game may be 100 times better because it's now attached and was pushed by Sony. And it just, I think it's going to be exciting. It does look really good. So.
Mepper says Zenith got a bunch of investment outside of Kickstarter,
Ooh.
supposedly enough that they didn't need the Kickstarter funds to be able to complete development. Well, yeah, I mean, apparently so, but I'm still kind of, it's weird to me because these environments look beautiful, but they're very empty, right? And if this is something, I mean, this is an MMORPG, massive multiplayer online role-playing game. You expect there to be players all in it. And I kind of think that was the downfall of Nostos. Nostos was beautiful too. But when you get all those players in there, what happens, Ruuts?
It gets all janky as fuck. It was bad. They've got to have a lot of support. The servers have to be good. That's the thing, man. When you have a Blizzard, a World of Warcraft server, and there's, I mean, anybody, if you just think back to the original World of Warcraft, when the first expansion came out and everybody got home at midnight and everybody jumped on the servers at the same time. And like, it was a joke. Nobody could move. It was so bad that we're crashing. Like nobody expected it to be what it was. And because everybody was in the same areas. And I think it opened up a lot of companies' eyes to what these servers need to be. And most of these games like this, they aren't going to come in with those kind of servers. So what are they going to limit the amount of people to? You know, like even Sea of Thieves has a limit of like 7 ships or whatever. So it makes me wonder how many people are going to be running around with you in there. So
Onakazi said he had high hopes for Nostos to drag itself up with its own potential, but sadly it got abandoned. I wonder if the servers are still up, Roots, because that would certainly make for a very interesting money show, wouldn't it?
that
If we
would.
go into that broken game, because there was some cool stuff about it. I mean, there was some awesome looking environments in that game and cool looking characters. I mean, the game itself was an awesome game. It just was broken, like it didn't run. But the assets, the game concept, everything that they had there was really something special. It's a shame that they couldn't finish it and get it to work.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of these games, especially early VR games, or experiences of this nature, they forget I feel like a broken record sometimes, but the gameplay loop or just the enjoyability of the game, and sometimes getting in there in those environments and you're like, this is cool. It still needs to run everything. You need to have a drive, something pulling you through, some reason to walk all the way over there and do what you're doing, and walk all the way back and do what you're doing over here. So hopefully this one will do it right, because I think Nostos, it was a good iteration first start, right? You got to have these first games that are okay, that aren't the best, but that you can see where you're headed, and then the next company or they come out and they build on top of it, and then before long you've got World of Warcraft or esque or Final Fantasy in VR, and we're probably not that far off from that. I would bet on Final Fantasy coming into VR before World of Warcraft, just because it's a big console title.
Tiffany making a good point here. She notes that there are a few of these games that are coming, and it's absolutely true. And they all look great. They do. They really do. But she doesn't think that the market's big enough
Mm,
to support all of them. She thinks only one of them is really going to catch on, and the others are going to die off. Um,
it's not going
I
to be
think that's a
Orbis.
valid point.
Not going to be Orbis. Orbis is okay, but it's not the end all of. I agree. It's like one of these, because there's so much time that will be sucked into that game, and especially if it's a big player that does it right, that gets people in there. And I would submit, I believe it's going to be just like some of these other games we've talked about. It's going to have both flat and VR players, because that will allow a lot of people in there, right? So.
Well, it's an interesting situation then, because now all of a sudden it really matters who brings a competent game to the market first, right? You want to be first now. You want to be the first one who can bring a game that's not broken, that's fun to play, and features this again cross-platform multiplayer. And whoever does it first is probably going to be the winner, because again, they're all beautiful games with great concepts. So uh, it's kind of a balancing act. You don't want to go too early and have people shit on your game for being broken, but you don't want to be too late and have the community go over to Elysia, for example, instead of Zenith.
Well, I'll tell you what this one has over some of the other ones, and I don't know what Elysia has, how much they've raised or whatever, but the fact that they're starting with money, not only Kickstarter money, but money outside of Kickstarter money, because the expensive part is the servers, man. Like, and it doesn't even matter if you can have the money for the servers to run for 6 months, and you've got 6 full months to really nail it. You get a shot, like somebody was just saying about Nostos. They thought they read a couple months ago that it's been down for a month or two. Um, so at some point, it's going to be not going to be financially advantageous to keep those servers up, whatever the game is. And so you have a small limit at a time, especially if you're going to be really trying to get a game like this to take off. It needs to feel like there's people everywhere coming and going, doing their thing, to really feel like a true MMO RPG. Like you said, it's massive, right? If it's not massive, if I'm running around and I'm seeing 3 or 4 people in the entire area, um, it's going to be not good. So.
Well, there's certainly a market for this type of game, and we saw that when we checked out Nostos. I mean, we went in on Nostos in day one, and that thing was full of people. I mean, they were everywhere.
Yeah. People really people want this game, man. There's a reason why people still go into Orbis, and I think it's okay. It's been better than it was when at start. I still think it's kind of basic for what I want. I'm also very spoiled when it comes to MMOs, but for the most part, I mean, it has everything you need, but you just need that one that really has all of what you're looking for. The story, the quests, the gear, the leveling up, all of that stuff's important. You need to be constantly upgrading your gear and being able to specialize it and put enchantments on it and craft it and put gems and stuff and like all those extra bits and tidbits. It's extra reasons for you to go back into the game. You start thinking about the game. I need to go back in. I got to grind. I got to go. I got to try to get this particular piece of gear. There's so much of your time. I'm describing how my marriage went down. So much of your time gets sucked down that hole, but you don't even realize it because it's just fun. It's gameplay, right? So, and
Yeah, and it
Spry
wouldn't
Guy
hurt
says
to
he had a bad addiction as well. So
it wouldn't hurt to have a couple of DLCs in your back pocket when you come to market either, would it?
yeah, no, absolutely not for sure. So
That
hopefully,
way you can support it like going forward and keep it fresh for the players, keep people coming back.
yeah, well, that's one of the things that Population One has done well about keeping things fresh and keeping people coming back. Even though it's a shooter, it's the same thing. Like you said, if you got that extra funding, maybe you've got 2 or 3 DLCs in your back pocket ready to come out. After that's the thing. Even if it's planned and you don't tell people and you release it every month and a half to 2 months, people are like, "Oh my God, they just keep giving us more content." Well, we always planned on doing it, but we're gonna space it out and we've got it ready to go and you keep feeling like things are getting fresh, people keep coming in. This is one of those games that if you do it right feeds on itself, right? You start playing it, you're playing it all the time, and then your friends see you're playing it, or you tell them come in, and now you got 2 of your friends in there and now 3, and then everybody, the whole gang is in there. It can just get exponentially out of control if you do it right. So
Yeah. Andy McAvoy joining the chat saying, "What did I miss?" Well, not much. Just us spending an hour on an intro talking about all the things that we're not talking about this week.
I know that was crazy. Yeah, that's my favorite part. Is like when a lot of times the intros I don't pull the scenes for it, and we'll end up talking about all sorts of stuff. And I just like, screw it, we'll leave it on stride. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So, you know, awesome that we got 3 new trailers this week from 3 different, very different games, but not so different after all, because again, they have this common underlying thread that they're all going to be cross-platform multiplayer games that support co-op gameplay. I didn't even, think about that when I was putting the episode together. I was just grouping them together because we got new trailers, and it just turned out that they all have this one feature in common, which happens to be the one feature that we ask every game to give us.
Yeah,
So,
it's my favorite feature.
super cool. Let's move on to a game that gave us a release date, Ruuts, a game we've been looking forward to since we learned of it. Flow Weaver. Stitch Media has announced that their fantasy puzzle game Flow Weaver will arrive on Oculus Quest and Rift headsets next week. In Flow Weaver, players awaken to find themselves trapped in an unknown dimension and must use their magical powers to move between other realities and find a means of escape. The game appears to be a story-driven puzzler, kind of an escape room of sorts. And Borderland 3's Siren Strange voices the main character in the game. Flow Weaver launches on March 11th and is now available to wishlist in the coming soon section of the Oculus Quest store. Currently, the game's planned for launch exclusively on Oculus headsets. And even though there is a Steam VR listing for this game, it only lists Oculus headsets as compatible. Roots, we've been looking forward to this since it was revealed, I guess, about a half a year ago now. A unique concept here, right? Dimension hopping, portal hopping as a means of puzzle solving in an escape room style of gameplay. It's kind of hard to call it an escape room because many of the environments aren't in a room, but it's that same you got to get out of here style of gameplay. And we haven't seen a title yet that takes this approach of dimension hopping as a mechanic.
Oh, it looks cool. I think it'd be, one of the things that makes me wonder, Wes, it's weird to me that it's got a Steam page and, but it's not listed as any other headset but Oculus. Because why would you buy this as an Oculus headset owner from Steam? And why would you not support it for other headsets on a different platform? I mean, it has to go to the other headsets, even though it's releasing first or whatever is going on. I don't know what's going on, but I can't imagine a world where it just doesn't work on a Valve Index on Steam. That would be very bizarre to me.
It worries me a little bit, Roots, and not that it's an Oculus exclusive. That doesn't worry me at all. I think that this is going to be a good game. I think that it's going to be rewarding from the perspective that the gameplay is unique, and I think the storytelling is going to be superb. The thing that really worries me is when I think of a game that's going to Steam VR that isn't going to support any Steam VR headsets. I only know of one other that's even tried it, and Technolust launched as an Oculus Rift exclusive, and then people asked for a Steam VR version, and he survived. He Blair took the game to Steam VR as an Oculus game, and they crucified him for it. They absolutely murdered him in the reviews and the comments, and he had to end up leaving Steam VR as a result of it. But as you know, I mean, it's hard to get out from under those negative reviews, and I'm worried that if Stitch Media takes this direction, that they might suffer the same fate here.
Well, hopefully not. I mean, as long as eventually you can, I mean, well, not even eventually. I mean, if it's going to come out on the Steam website, it needs to play well with Steam headsets, right? That's the biggest thing. I don't understand. I have no idea what it takes to change schematics for different controllers or different headsets, but I would imagine that should be like 101.
That's a good point. It's a good point that today's Steam VR isn't yesterday's Steam VR, and even though they don't officially support these Steam VR headsets, bringing a game to the platform at all gives the more technically savvy VR user the ability to do their own custom controller bindings and create their own support, right?
Yeah, but I mean, as long as people know and they're aware, right? And they don't expect something, because like you said, people get weird and get pissed, Wes. I don't understand. They really get pissed off. So,
Dude, they're ready to go to war sometimes, aren't they?
yeah,
Or they think they are. They're ready to go to war and onward. Not real war. They would cower and cry if it came down to real fighting, but they're ready to go to war online, bro. Keyboard warriors for sure.
Absolutely.
But no, man. I just basically threw this in here because it is a game that we've covered a few times on our show, and a game that we've both been looking forward to. It was cool to see them announce their launch date on D-Day, pretty much. I mean, they announced on the same day as everybody else was announcing their games during the PSVR thing or right after it. So kudos to them. Really looking forward to it. Not long to wait, Rich. Just a few days now. We'll have this one in our hands and playing it.
Nice. You know what's cool about this company too is it's Canada Media funded. And like I was telling Scion yesterday, I think it was, or 2 days ago. Like I can't think of anything. Everybody I meet from Canada is good. Seems to be good. So
yeah, great guys, eh?
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
Even though they do refer to ham as bacon. I mean, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a little bit sketchy, But I think it's Strange Brew whenever I think of Canadians because they're all like them. Have you ever seen that movie, Strange Brew?
I know of it. I don't think I've watched it.
Yeah, there's a line in there where the guy says, "I have to take a piss so bad I can taste it." They had to drink all the beer in this vat, it was filling up at the brewery, and they were going to drown, but they had to drink it all to stop themselves. It's a stupid movie, ridiculously stupid, but it's funny. So Rick Moranis back in the day.
Yeah, Canadian Rick Moranis. Oh, by the way, the aforementioned Blair Renaud, also Canadian.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I love me some Blair. You know, I need door handles. So wasn't that the inside joke?
Right, right. They don't
Oh,
have door handles in Canada, bro. What are you talking about?
yeah, absolutely not.
Uh-oh, Spry Guy coming through and calling us hosers.
Yeah, I don't see that in there. Am I in live chat? Okay, yeah. I guess I'm a second behind you in my chat.
Yeah, well, I am the overlord, the chat overlord.
That's right. It went through quick, so.
Anyway, looking forward to that again. Flow Weaver launching on March 11th, exclusively for Oculus headsets. I assume that means that there's going to be a standalone version on day one. So we're going to get the Quest version. I do not know if this is going to be cross-buy, but I imagine that it probably will be.
Oh wow, cool. Well, I'm looking forward to playing it one way or the other. So
Yeah. So stay tuned. Much more to come on that one in the coming days and weeks. Now we get to the meat, Roots. We did have some new game announcements over this past week. We've already talked about the high profile ones, but let's talk about one that came completely from out of nowhere. A game that was completely off the radar that just, casually got tossed into the mix this week that I am very excited for based on this early trailer. This past week, Sideborn announced an upcoming sci fi adventure for VR titled Hubris. The single player adventure puts you in the role of a recruit training to be an agent for the Order of Objectivity, or Triple O, sent to look for a mysterious agent called Sienna. You have to survive in a hostile environment currently undergoing terraforming, encounter new factions, and build new items along the way. Hubris VR promises a fully explorable world where you can climb, swim, jump, and run around as you please. You'll encounter a wide variety of creatures, a mixture of alien wildlife, humanoids, and mechanized enemies. You'll also have to keep an eye out for resources to craft weapons and useful tools. Roots, uh, it's too good to be true, right? Like this trailer looks beautiful. They're promising this open world that you're fully able to explore. You can climb, run, do whatever, dude. Take it all in with all sorts of variety in the NPCs in game. It's story driven, sci-fi adventure. There's weapon crafting. I mean, this game has it all, doesn't it? Or at least their promises have it all.
it looks amazing. It looks like if everything they're saying is what we want, it's going to be phenomenal. Kind of reminds me a lot of Seeking Dawn, of what we would have wanted from Seeking Dawn without the jank, right? But my thing is as my optimism goes down in some areas of different things, like the healing in MMOs or whatever. My optimism goes up and just the way that, like, all of these games as they come out, like, this may not be exactly what we're wanting out of it, but eventually it's gonna be. We're gonna get into this title that's just like this, and it's gonna be everything we want, and it may just be this one. It looks phenomenal. I would submit, if everything looks like it does in the headset and they've got a really good story that pulls you along, absolutely not. Do I want to just go through some cool looking environment, swinging along on some things, climbing around? I'm done. I'm over that kind of stuff. I want the story to bring me through as well, and hopefully it does. It looks amazing. It looks really beautiful. So
Yeah, it looks next gen. And, I'm confident that it is going to have all of this other stuff based on the fact of who Cyborn is. Cyborn is not just some small, game development studio. Cyborn has their hand in a lot of different pots when it comes to the entertainment industry and technology world. They do a lot of different things. They work with different movie companies, providing services to them. Uh, in fact, following this is going to be an episodic thing. This Hubris VR, following the launch of the first episode, they're supporting this with a mini series called Terraformer. So, like, do you want it to be story driven? Oh, it's going to be so story driven that they're doing a friggin', live action series based in this world.
Oh, well, that's really good actually. And somebody was saying in the chat, it depends on Kazi on how much weight part one is. Is it 2 hours, 6 hours? How many parts are there? Definitely, yeah. I mean, even if it, and of course, even a 2 hour first part is fine as long as it's priced correctly, right? Like if it's 10, 15
Yeah.
bucks and it's really good, I don't mind spending, 10, 15 bucks for a 2 hour campaign for a first part. And it depends on how long it's spaced out too. But it looks like it's got good mechanics. There's the guy swimming, he's like free diving swimming. So hopefully there'll be really next gen swimming. We don't see that in too many games yet. I think free diver really set the bar for that. So looks
Yeah,
good.
man. I'm, obviously more is better, and we would want a long, full-fledged game here. But I mean, if it is just 2 hours long, I'm okay with that if it's priced appropriately and if it delivers. Like if it's 2 hours of wow, if it's 2 hours of wow, then I mean it's wow. I mean 2 hours of wow is still wow, right?
Right, absolutely. And that I mean, it says you're crafting different weapons, or different tools or whatever. I just want, my thinking is, Wes, anymore. I can't get many good stories in Hollywood anymore, movie wise. So I have to resort to video games for any good stories anymore, and so they're out there, and that's what I would submit to the developers of any of these games. As much as you want to make it needs to have a good story as well as the gameplay, or else you're just going through a walking sim, and it better be a fun walking sim. This does look like a really cool. This looks to me, it just looks everything. It's definitely at minimum, it's a very well made trailer because it looks phenomenal.
It looks
So,
too good to be true, doesn't it? It looks too good to be true. Like it looks like I can't say, well, you know what? I wish I had this. I mean, it looks great, dude. I can't say any more than that. It looks awesome.
yeah, yeah, Sharknado is what Gamer Chick
Right,
said.
right, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Hubris VR currently down for a fall 2021 launch for Valve Index, HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, Windows Mixed Reality, and PlayStation VR. Again, Roots, this isn't some small indie studio, early accessing their way into Steam VR to try to get a foothold. This is a big company, a big multi-platform media company, bringing the big guns. You think they're going to hit their date though in fall 2021? I expect there will be at least one delay, right?
Yeah, it'll probably be a COVID 2021 delay, and we'll start hearing that a lot more, and we'll see. Hopefully, it's not delayed, but either way, as long as it comes out in a good form, I'll be happy. So,
Traveling Man 3775 says, can't wait to check out the bathroom in it. Yeah, yeah, apparently Traveling Man watches my videos and he knows the true test for the how good the developers are. I always check the toilet. If the toilet's flush Roots, then we're in for a good game.
yeah, well, it's definitely a detail that shouldn't be just fiddled away, right? I mean, we all want working toilets. Although, depending on the environment, people forget that once you lose power, you lose your toilet's ability to flush without the water coming through pumping. So, in the wrong environment, if it flushes, you might think, "Ooh, that's kind of weird because there's no power to this place," right?
So I don't know where you're from. Do you have to have power on for your toilet to flush Roots?
Well, you can, I guess, to get the water to get in, as long as there's water in the tank, the water's got to flow. So,
the way our plumbing works here, it's all gravity based. Like the
no, it'll
power could
it'll
go out.
flush, but you just won't get any more water, I guess is a more accurate term.
No,
Like
like the water flows, Roots. Like The our water reserves are up on the top of the mountain here, and everything's based on that gravity pushing it down into our plumbing. So the
Mm.
toilets don't. I mean, there aren't electric pumps pumping our water. It's just all gravity.
Yeah, well, that's that's not the
I did.
common.
I thought that was just true of everywhere. I
Hmm.
didn't know that people had to have electricity for their water to run.
No,
That's a
yeah, no,
strange concept for
yeah,
me.
no, literally. There's an apartment complex that I've been treating for a while, and the slumlord, the power went out for like 2 weeks, and he was just bringing them a couple gallons of water every 3 days or something, and they're like, dude, we had to flush the toilet. That took one of those things alone, because you can't.
That's
There's no
crazy.
water. Yeah, so
Like we lose hot water, but I mean the water runs. I mean it flows
yeah,
forever
you,
until we're just out of water.
well, you're set in a good place.
I guess so. I never realized the things I take for granted, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Like common sense.
Anyway, out of all the announcements this week, Roots, other than the high profile ones, I mean, this was really the one. This was the winner for me, Hubris. Um, right off the bat, I'm super stoked for this one, and to hear that this is a 2021 release. I mean, this does not look like a 2021 game, does it? I mean, I can't. I struggle to think of anything that is quite this polished that we already have. I mean, what Half-Life Alex maybe? I mean, that's it, right?
Well, we got what's it called coming out? The remaster Vertigo 2. That I think there's certain games that you look at and you're like, oh my god, man, when that just looks so much far above everybody else, right? So
And it is interesting that you mentioned Seeking Dawn because, in many ways, Seeking Dawn they delivered the product that they promised us. It's just they delivered some jank with it at launch that kind of ruined everything, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's still a good game. It just has some performance issues that you got to have a beefy computer for sure.
Yeah, I think it's an underrated game to be quite honest. All every bit of jank that or most of the major jank that I encountered in that game was in a multiplayer scenario. When I played through it single player, I mean it worked just fine, and I didn't have any issues with it.
I need to go back in there since I've got an updated headset, updated hardware and stuff. Probably run a lot better than it used to.
Yeah, I haven't played it since they put that big optimization patch in, that like 8 GB patch to the game that they did. I haven't been in there since then.
Yeah, yeah, definitely a game worthy of playing. And speaking of, while I'm on a game that's unrelated, I wanted to switch out what we were talking about last, the Chronos, for a different game, and now it's alluded. Oh, the Landfall, because Radio Runt wants to play some Landfall. So I want
Oh,
to
so
put
you're talking about on your list?
yeah,
You want to drop Chronos and add Landfall to
yeah,
the beat
just
it
for yeah,
list?
just yeah, to my beat it list. So
Well, I will do that right now.
Landfall,
So
I hear it's better than Contractors. That's what I heard.
I hear the word landfall a lot, but I don't hear much more than that. Just landfall.
Yeah, Landfall. That's it.
Uh, for those of you who may be new to the channel, what Roots is referring to is our 2021 Beat It Challenge. During the course of the year, Roots and I are in competition. It's a very convoluted uh, competition with a lot of rules, but the basis of it is finishing games. We want to finish as many VR games as we can this year. So we each have a list of 10 games that we're working toward um, finishing, and the game has to be on your list when you publish the last part of it in order to get the points for it. So I'm just we can change the games on change the games in and out on it as we uh, change our mind about what we want to play, and that's what Roots is doing here. He's going to drop Chronos and add in Landfall. Now the question becomes,
How long is
how
Landfall?
long is Landfall?
Yeah, I hear it's very lengthy. No, I don't know. I have no idea.
Let's see what Google has to say.
I don't know that anybody can really be winning per se. I know I've got one game In the win column, I have no idea what Wes has finished. I assume he's finished Lies Beneath. I assume he's probably finished Little Nightmares. But he has to release them on his channel. So we've got a full year. I would say we're probably neck and neck right now. Is my guess, because I've also got some stuff recorded that I'm getting ready to release that I haven't put out, and so that's the beauty of it.
We're going to do an update episode very soon and go through all of that. I would suspect that Roots is probably slightly ahead of me. But that's the cool thing about the rules is he can stay ahead of me all he wants. The rules are such that nobody's ever out of it, and you can always get back into the game by using a bit of strategery with regards to the games that you play and how you play them.
BFG has a co-op version, so you can play in VR, or no? Void Citizen. Gamer Chick says she's winning at Technoglitch, and she is. She's winning at life. She's winning at being a good person, and probably winning at the Game Beat It challenge. I don't know what's on her list though.
So I don't. There's no information online about how long this title is. Well, here's a review. Maybe they'll.
Radio Runt, you out there, bro? How long is Landfall? The prize is actually Wes was trying to put a monetary Steam cards or something on it, and I get weird in competitions when it comes to money and all that stuff, so I opted to not have that tied to it. So it's more about.
All right. I've got an interesting caveat here for you, Roots.
Okay.
There is a co-op mode that lets you and a friend team up to play missions from the campaign. I'm not
so you
sure
can't play
you're
the
going to
whole
be able
game.
to. Right.
Okay, so we'll leave it this way. We'll find out a little bit more from Radio Runt. If that's the case, then I don't know that it'll necessarily be a good game to put on the list. Or I will just have to do it by myself. You know, I can't imagine. I don't know how you would do that if you in each individual mission, or I don't know. Does it say how long those would take?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that more research needs to be done.
Onakazi says Landfall definitely has co-op. And to answer your question, Andy McAvoy, the list is posted on the Discord, correct? What is that under? We should have its own channel for the list, right?
I don't think we posted it on the Discord, or did we?
I thought you posted a link to it at one point that explained all the rules and all of that.
It would have been in announcements if I did.
I'll take a look. All
right, so we'll put Landfall right now as a medium-sized game, and if we need to adjust it later, we can.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not sure where that link is. I'll try to find it, but I'll try to add a channel for it, Andy, because it might be something that maybe people want to. Here it is, the 2021 Beat It Challenge. It's under from January 17th of 2021. But I'll try to make a channel for it, and then that way everybody has somewhere to go. And yeah, there's my list. Gauntlet. Hell yeah, dude. We solidified it. It's done. But yeah. But this doesn't look like it's updated. We'll have to work on the updated list, or we'll have it better in that channel once I get it up there.
Yep. So. All right. So where were we? Hubris. Hubris looks awesome. Again, coming to all major VR platforms except for Oculus Quest. Fall 2021. So not very long to wait on that one. Yeah. Another one, Ruuts, that kind of just fell into our laps from out of nowhere, which carries a bit of a recognizable franchise name with it. Zombieland VR, Headshot Fever. XR Games and Sony Pictures have announced a new shooter that puts you in the world of Zombieland, and it's coming to all major VR headsets soon. Zombieland VR Headshot Fever appears to be a standard wave shooter that's designed around a shooting-based race course aptly named the Zombieland Invitational. The game will put an emphasis on leaderboards, gun variety, and upgrades. The promotional material promises, quote, no wandering around and no atmospheric BS. But considering the dated genre and the fact that the Zombieland movie released years ago, I can't help but wonder if this game was originally planned to launch years ago, perhaps shelved and then revived in light of VR's newfound popularity. At any rate, shooting things in VR is just fun, so I'm not quite ready to write this one off just yet. Roots, it's another zombie wave shooter. This is like the most cliche game in VR. But now, with that said, this is coming from Sony Pictures. It's got a very recognizable franchise behind it. And I haven't played a whole lot of shooters that I didn't like. So, what are you thinking about this?
It depends on how much it cost, what your goal is for it. Like I enjoyed Dick Wild. Wave shooters can be fun in the right environment. I wasn't impressed with the voice acting. Didn't seem like I couldn't remember hearing anybody that seemed recognizable as the actual cast. I think what you said just nails it. I think it's like they had this game and they didn't put it out and they just shelved it and decided, hey, we can make it. And maybe it's amazing gameplay wise. But hopefully there'll be some kind of a story. The original Zombieland was funny. And so, I mean, when I originally saw that this was in existence before I saw any footage, I thought, oh, that sounds really cool. After I watched it, I thought, I don't know, man. You know, if it's not too expensive, it looks like it could be fun. There's a lot of weapons, and maybe you upgrade them. You can change them. I don't know. There's a lot of things, a lot of questions for me in my mind. So
It looks like a game I would have enjoyed in 2017.
yeah, you
Looks like
might.
a game I would have loved back then. I mean, like people still to this day like rave about the Brookhaven experiment, but how is that any better than this? You know what I mean?
Well, and we started the show off with After the Fall footage. That's just like jaw dropping, like the game you want to play in VR. And this, like you said, this nailed it. Like you could, if you went back in time where maybe this was the first game you ever saw in VR or the first game you ever played, you might think it's really cool. It might be super fun. It might be like
Yeah.
that $10 game that's great as a palate cleanser type of game. It just really is going to depend on how much it costs because I just think that this is going to turn out to be a palate cleanser type of a game, which there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're holding your expectations that this is like the game of the 2021 of the year, it's probably not going to be. But I think it'll be worth playing without playing it. So.
Well, I see prominently displayed in the middle of the screen there, Viveport, and that's what I think of when I see this game. I think that this has Viveport written all over it.
Yeah, I mean the likeness of the characters looks very good. Whoever drew those characters are pretty good. It kind of looks like Woody Harrelson. Each one looks very similar. Um, but yeah, definitely Viveport for sure. Viveport Infinity from day one makes me want to go back and watch Zombieland. That was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, and you know what? This game could be fun. It could be like Guns and Stories Bulletproof. That was a
Absolutely.
stationary wave shooter that we played not that long ago and really enjoyed. Again, I haven't played a whole lot of shooters in VR that I didn't like. So like I'm sure this game's going to be fun. It's just the question is how fun, how much is it going to cost? I'm really interested to see what people think about it because I have seen a few people that say that they're excited for this because they like that old arcade style shooter game, and that's what they're attempting to bring back here is the arcade style wave shooter. And if anything else, it looks like they are doing that.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it could be good. So hopefully it'll be as good as we think it will be, but hopefully it's not too expensive either.
My question is are people going to end up praising this, but still crapping all over Onslaught? Because uh, I don't think that this game is going to be as good as The Walking Dead Onslaught is as far as an overall game. There's a lot more nuanced gameplay in the Servios Walking Dead title from the last year.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting. It depends. I mean, this is clearly a wave shooter. If it the other one is not, it's more of a story based. So I can't imagine it would be even close. But I mean, the other game, if the other game would have came out at $20, it would have been well received. I think even though it had that jank. It was too expensive. Um,
Yeah. Need
so
to go back in and see what they've patched it since I've played it. Apparently pretty significantly. So need to give it another look.
yeah, I almost bought that yesterday for $12, and then it wasn't available. That was I found my sweet spot for that game. I was ready to buy it at $12 all day from whatever Phil Yarn had linked in the Discord, and it was already sold out by the time I got to it. Uh, so
Delirium Drew said he played Guns and Stories and thought it was a snooze fest.
I liked
Boring
it.
AF.
Well,
Yeah, I did too.
it depends on what you're hoping for from it. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed I thought it was kind of funny that, you know, it was like this grandfather kept changing his story mid-story, and all of a sudden these guns are changing. I enjoyed it. But it depends on what you're looking for it, you know. I think I played it for free. That changes, at least the first time, that changes an opinion as well. So,
Yep. To each their own, right?
yeah. Yep.
Anyway, let's see here. What else do we have? Zombieland VR Headshot Fever will launch for Quest, Rift, Steam VR, and PSVR sometime this spring. So, not long to wait on this one. I think that we nailed it here, Roots. I think that they've had this one in their back pocket for a while now. And they said, you know what? Everybody's into VR. Why not release it and make a few dollars?
Well, I mean, the reality is, even if I mean, they shelved it, they spent money making it. You might as well try to make something, right? A lot of times they shelve these things for that exact reason. They just say now's not the right time, and let's put it out later, and then they do, and it pays off. So
Right.
maybe they make another movie. Who knows? Maybe Zombieland 2 is right around the corner.
Well, they already did Zombieland 2.
Oh, did
Zombieland 2 came out a couple years ago.
Oh God! See, that shows you how far I hear that all the time. Like sequels have came out, and I'm like, oh shit, dude. And I just don't watch movies anymore. So.
Yep. Let's see here. Oh, we still have a couple more new announcements. Roots, The Secret of Retropolis is an upcoming story-driven point-and-click adventure coming to PCVR headsets this summer. The story takes place in the city of Retropolis, which is completely inhabited by robots, tasked with keeping humanity's past alive. Featuring environments, items, and characters, all designed in Oculus Quill, The Secret of Retropolis will be a heavy mixture of zany puzzles interwoven with comedy writing. The gameplay will be nicely tailored to VR while sticking to the theme of the universe. For example, the most current VR games utilize some form of magnet hands to grab distant objects. In The Secret of Retropolis, you'll have super extendable robot arms to collect and interact with these objects. That's because The Secret of Retropolis is designed to be a comfortable, seated experience that all players can enjoy. Roots, this is something that I think is going to become a trend as VR gaming becomes more and more popular. We're going to get to see more and more of these games that are developed to be played seated. The Secret of Retropolis, very much leaning into that, as well as Flow Weaver. Flow Weaver, we talked about a few minutes ago. They designed that to be seated as well. And I think, that's a welcome change for me as someone who plays most standing VR games seated. So it's always good to see a seated mode incorporated into the game because it really helps with the in-game height adjustment.
Well, you got to figure how do the humans get to Wall-E style, like in the movie Wall-E? How did they get to the point where they're getting rolled around? I submit that things are going that direction more seated stuff than walking on some catwalk, trying to do more work. People just want to sit down, and I agree. Even Wake In, granted, okay, you say Ruuts, it's a wheelchair. Of course, it's a seated experience, but it's the same thing. Whether it's magnet hands, extendable arms, the little claw, each one of them has they're trying to find some unique way to let you interact with stuff to make you feel like it's just different, which is kind of cool. I want to see my arms extend and grab stuff. I think it's kind of cool that it's made in Quill, right? That's we said that way back when Quill was out. It'd be cool to see what people can do with this. well, we're finally getting to
Absolutely.
see that, right? And I think it's cool. I think it'll be definitely very artistic, probably definitely worth playing for sure.
Yeah, we brought that up when we were in the Museum of Other Realities, when we were in some of these worlds that were created in Quill. We said it then that people could absolutely, design games in this thing. And here, proof positive, right? The Secret of Retropolis, point and click style puzzler, apparently going to lean heavily into the comedy here too. It's not just about the gameplay, but about the, you know, it's going to be a well-rounded entertainment experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And Onikazi says he does his little dance on the catwalk. So who doesn't do their dance on the catwalk these days? Yeah, no, my point, it stands. I think people are too lazy for that kind of stuff. But we've had that conversation so many times.
Well, I would submit that some of us have painful feet when we get home from work. And if I had to stand up to play games when I got home from work,
You wouldn't
I'd
play.
never play any games.
Absolutely. Well, I'm finding even games that are designed to be standing, it's kind of fun to try to play them sitting sometimes, you know. Even Pop One, it's a bit easier to play standing up, but you can play it sitting down. That Z Racer is definitely easier standing up, but I enjoy playing it sit down as well. So
Yeah, I play most games seated, and most of them are well suited for it. You'll occasionally come across one like, right, The Eye of Atlantis. I didn't find that very comfortable as a seated game. You had to stand up in that one. And there will be one every now and then that makes you stand up. That Caliban Below, you had to stand up for that one. Um, but for the most part, most games, uh, uh, as long as I mean, occasionally you'll get one that feels weird because they don't have proper height adjustment, and you're just always a midget in game if you're sitting down. But if you can deal with that, then you can play most games seated.
yeah, I enjoy it. It's nice to relax every once in a while, right?
Yeah, for sure. Developer Peanut Button has slated The Secret of Retropolis for a launch on Steam and the Oculus Link store this summer. So PC VR exclusive Roots. This is isn't this exactly what I said? This that PC would end up having exclusives in this new future, but it's going to be stuff like this, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be few and far between. I mean, you want to hit those headsets that people actually own, and that's definitely PlayStation VR, definitely Quest, just selling the hell out of these headsets. So the two games are the two um, platforms that people say are holding back VR are the ones driving it forward. How ironic.
Uh, Roots, speak for about 3 seconds here because I'm feeling an odd breeze, and I think my front door may be left
Oh
open. My
God,
my
why you,
my wife and kids left a moment ago, and there's definitely a weird cold breeze hitting me here.
you definitely
So
don't want to have a cold breeze. Okay, well, gamer chick. She says she's ready for a couple hours for some gaming. I'm ready for some gaming, gamer chick. Where are you gonna leave Roots out in the cold, bro? I feel like I'm being thrown out to the trash. Um, but no, I was thinking about doing a stream later. So I don't know. Maybe we can do some multiplayer with somebody. Anybody that's up for playing some games. And I was thinking about streaming to YouTube for a change. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that, Wes. I'm going to stream on my off nights. If I do stream on my off nights at all, it's going to be on YouTube because I don't feel like I give YouTube enough love. And so I'm ready to embrace the YouTube community a little bit more.
Roots, I think that there's a spirit here.
Oh
For
God.
some reason, I feel very cold. Actually, it was because the front door actually was open.
Was it really? Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, leave it. Well, and these are the same people that probably be like, I don't know how the dog got out or whatever. Because my roommates do the same thing, and one roommate was like shocked that his dog got hit by a car and he had to do all this stuff. But like, I see the doors left open half the time. So, well, what happens happens.
That's what I was actually worried about, is that I was going to have to run outside and try to find my cat because she tries
Ooh.
to get out all the time, and she's a house cat, like
Mm.
born and raised indoors. Like she wouldn't make it out there, but she tries to get out like hell sometimes. But luckily, she was just sitting there at the door looking out. She didn't go, so. Um,
How crazy?
Luckily, I can come back and resume the show quickly.
How crazy would it be if every time you tried to leave, somebody was trying to stop? Oh wait, we're living in that world. Andy McAvoy says, "What does Wes do in real life for his job?"
I work in a factory. I'm a factory worker. We make industrial batteries. And when I talk about batteries, I'm not talking about batteries. I'm talking about batteries that weigh 3,000 pounds and
Ooh, big
could,
batteries.
you would fill out a truck bed, like a big pickup truck bed. Big batteries. Fun fact, I'm sure many of you have seen in recent days the brand new Mars rover that just landed on Mars, sending back new video and pictures from the surface of the red planet. Um, that is powered by my company. The
Ooh,
batteries that we make are on Mars right now, powering that thing. We're the world leader in industrial battery technology.
that's crazy, dude. You could have had your hands on something that's on another planet right now. That's insane.
I would actually consider that likely because I mean we have plants all over the world, but our plant here in Kentucky is actually one of the top ones. So
Who doesn't want to move to Kentucky, dude? I was thinking about doing that the other day, and I realized I don't have land, money, opportunity, or job. So I think I'm stuck here, Wes.
Tiffany says I'm going to recommend a smudge stick, cross, setting up a UV camera, and leaving an empty notebook open on the floor. Right.
I imagine
She's
your phasmophobia in it, right? We need to get back into that, Wes. We didn't really give it enough of a go. I'd like to see you, me, Tiffany, Dave Station VR, Delirium Drew. Oh wait, there's only 4 people, huh?
yeah, I'm all for it, bro. Yeah, we just need to go straight to the Discord next time instead of trying to make it work
Spry
the other
guy,
way.
Spry guy says so. When the Mars rover fails, now we know why.
That's what I said, right?
That's funny.
No, I'm sure they tested the hell out of those. Generally, when we do get military contracts and stuff sometimes, and we're extremely careful about the quality checks when it comes to jobs that we know that people's lives are going to depend on the battery. We tend to treat those with a little bit more care.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Anyway, where are we at? Oh, Secret of Retropolis. What do you think, Roots? Are you looking forward to this one at all? I'm looking forward to checking it out. Like I'm not super hyped for it or anything, but I think it looks cool, and I think if the dialogue is well written, that it could be rather amusing.
Yeah, no, that's got to be it. That's just got to. It's going to be all about the story. It's not going to be game breaking gameplay. It is going to be an artistic thing to, to that I just from an artistic standpoint, and I've said this before, just going into it and marveling over something that I'm just not artistic, Wes. I couldn't do stuff like this, and to go into this world that somebody else envisioned, somebody else brought into VR in a program like Quill, which I guarantee at some point, and we've seen all these posts on Reddit all the time, like all the time. I'm a dev thinking about making a game. What are you guys interested in? Or I've got this short story. Like all these developers that their dream is to make a game just like this, made this cool environment, and now it's coming to fruition. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I've got a bunch of questions I need to answer because I had a guy contact me on Twitter. He's a student. He's going to be a VR developer, and he contacted me on Twitter and asked me if I would answer some questions for him, and he sent me a big long list of stuff about VR that I need to get back to and answer his questions. But you're right, these developers, you know they want to do they want to make something that people will play, right? And many of them are taking to the social media to get ideas. So I can completely concur with what you're saying there. It's actually more prevalent than a lot of people would think.
Yeah, no, I just think it's cool to see somebody's dream thing coming out, and I can't wait to get in there and check it out. And I'm more curious than anything of just what this is gonna be, and so be cool.
Uh, Tiffany says, "Thanks, guys. I would love that." I guess talking about your invitation to Phasmophobia. Roots. I know somebody who would probably really enjoy being the fourth on that one, and that's my wife. We
Oh
forget
yeah.
that we now have two VR worthy PCs in my household and two VR worthy headsets in my household. So uh, we can hit it. We
Not
can
only
get
that,
it, bro.
yeah, not only that, but do we forget that that is beneficial for, at least for you and me, Roots, and whoever the fourth is, because we get to hang out with your wife. So I think it sounds cool.
She's always jumping in like wanting to be a part of like anything like firewall, whatever. Whenever we start talking about this stuff, she's like, I want to do it. And I'm like, okay, you
Yeah.
can come in anytime you want. She's been playing. As a matter of fact, she beat Vin last week.
Ooh.
So she beat both of us to finishing that one. And now she started on Saints and Sinners. And I think she's like almost to the end of that now. Like she just started playing it 2 days ago. So like she's been marathoning Saints and Sinners. And for those of you wondering out there, those you PC guys who may be in the audience, she fully knows how to connect to virtual desktop and play the Steam version if she wants to. She's choosing to play the Quest 2 enhanced version. So that should tell you something about the quality level of that particular version of the game.
Yeah. Andy says there's he asked if we've seen the latest Phasmophobia update, which I have not. I guess there must be new stuff, Wes.
I
So
know they're working on putting a new level in. I have not seen any recent news on it though.
yeah. Oh, sounds cool. Yeah, I definitely look forward to that for sure.
Anyway, one more piece of news before we get into the week's reminders. I promised the people some cookie pie news this week, Roots, and boy, do I have some cookie pie news for these people. Former PSVR exclusive first person shooter Immortal Legacy, the Jade Cipher, is coming to PCVR headsets this month. Developer Viva Games has already launched a non VR version of the game on PC, but it looks like this will be a fully separate purchase to that flat version. Immortal Legacy takes players to an ancient island in search of long lost secrets. There, you'll battle enemy soldiers and monsters while dual wielding weapons. The game features a multi hour single player shooter campaign. And Roots, I've already played through this game in its entirety on PlayStation. And I don't know if you guys remember or not, but I was extremely complimentary of the game. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, very indie in many ways, but also does things that not very many other games do in VR, even today. I recommend this title. You know, as long as it works on PC and it's not broken, this is a fun game, a very divisive game amongst PSVR people, but I think a lot of that has to do with the initial controller support and the weird control scheme. I think that that coming to PC, they're going to have access to a more conventional controller type, and I think that it isn't going to be faced with that initial wave of negativity like it had when it came to PlayStation.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's a good idea that it's separating itself from the flat version. You know, even though we'll have to, you know, it's a separate release and we'll have to pay for it. You know, there was enough negative reviews for whatever reason from the flat version that that would help drag it down, and it needs to, you know, stand on its own. I think it was good. I enjoyed my time in there, and I it's one of those games kind of like Ghost Giant that I had kind of hoped that I would eventually make it over away from the tracking and the schemes of the PlayStation VR, because it was limiting for me, and as far as movement wise, and I want to play this game the way it was designed, with full tracking and you know, on the PC goodness. So I'm looking forward to it. How much do you think it'll be?
Uh, and I got to imagine too that it'll be you know, there's going to be at least some form of visual upgrade on the PC, if nothing else, just through the sheer resolution of the screens and the new headsets and the ability to super sample, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you think it'd be what, $20, $25? I think it was what
I got to imagine so. It was I'm thinking it was around that on PlayStation. So
I'm thinking Void Citizen's not a fan of this game. He gave it three turds up.
three
Um,
turds up.
yeah.
Now
So
I enjoyed it. Now admittedly, the story's a little all over the place here. It can't decide what kind of story it wants to tell, and in the end, it kind of ends up not really telling any of it. I mean, you kind of have this big what the fuck moment at the end of it. Like, okay, that's it. But with that said, it's a nice long 6 to 8 hour campaign. Um, and the gameplay is fantastic in it. It's a fun game to play.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Did they say when this was coming out, or they just said sometime this year?
It will launch on March 19th via Steam
Oh,
VR with support for the Rift, Vive, and Valve Index. So, not long to wait. 2 weeks, week and a half,
yeah,
we'll have our hands on this game. And, you know, in an age where I don't finish very many games, this is one that I played all the way through, and it's not a short game. So that should tell you a little something about the game. You know what I mean? The fact that I played all the way through it, it's got horror elements to it. It's like kind of like playing a horror version of Uncharted in VR. And the deeper you get into the game, the crazier it gets. I mean, there's some legit crazy scenes in it, and I don't know. I just liked it, and I think a lot of the criticism of it is unfounded.
yeah, yeah. Well, Gamertags says he sure got some amazing reviews. It's pretty cool, but also a bit forgettable. So that's pretty valid, I guess. And Gamer Chick says it was only 3 out of 5 um turds up, maybe. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, on the turd scale, that's pretty average, huh?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Gamertag says he can't wait to get back to YouTube. What happened, Gamertag? Are you banned from YouTube?
He's probably just away, I imagine.
No. Okay.
Probably not home.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy it again, Roots. I bought it the first time. I paid full price for it when it launched. But I am going to request a key for it, and if they give it to me, I'm probably going to play all the way through this one again. Because I did enjoy it, and it's been a while since I played it.
Yeah, I'll play through it again. Or actually, I didn't play through the whole thing, but hopefully, I'll get a key as well. I'll play through it. Void Citizen says the characters in the combat were shit. How can you say that about Cookie Pie? You take that back.
How dare you?
That's very rude. Cookie
The
Pie.
only issues I had with the combat were what was the fact that when I tried to move, the controls were unintuitive. But I mean, as far as like the weapons, they worked like they were supposed to. You know what I mean? They didn't feel bad or anything. Uh, the enemies were formidable, especially when you got inside the caves and you move away from the human enemies and get into like the monsters and stuff. I mean, I enjoyed it. Well, you know, Steam VR, it'll be the truth, right? People, if it sucks, people are going to say it. If it's good, people are going to say it. I really my only real complaint with it, other than the controls on the move controllers, which we're not going to have to deal with this time, was the story. The story was, again, it was all over the place, and you never really got any kind of conclusion to any of the million different aspects they threw at you. But the environments were great. I really enjoyed the gameplay, and my theory will soon be tested when this gets released on the Steam VR, because I'm sure we'll know quickly what people think about it.
Oh, Gamertag says it's got 3D rudder support for those of people like Wes that are always looking for the 3D rudder uh, support on there. I think it'd be perfect fit for not standing. Kind of lean forward, lean back with your feet.
It looks like one of those pogo balls. Remember the pogo ball?
Yeah, dude, who doesn't love the pogo ball? I think it's gonna make a comeback. You know, maybe not.
Probably. Well, probably already has. We just so out of the loop we don't know it.
That's true.
Anyway, that's going to wrap up the news for the week and bring us into our weekly reminders. We're going to kick it off this week by asking you to please help us to support our developer friends by joining us in real time right now as we go to whatever platform of our choice and wish list one of these games that we talked about today, or maybe maybe a title that we didn't talk about today, maybe another title that you have on your mind that you'd like to play. At any rate, it really helps the developers out a lot. It helps to raise the profile of their game on the various stores, as well as it helps them to gauge your interest in their game. So please help us right now as we join us right now as we go and support. Rich, who are we going to support this week?
Oh man, every one of those is something I want to put on my list for sure. Like even Immortal Legacy, you know, I want to play. I want to play it, man. I will hopefully get a key for it. But yeah, I mean, I know I've already got After the Fall on there.
I'm checking immediately for Hubris because I'm so blown away by that trailer. I mean, that's a true wish list
I was blown
item for
away by
me.
it as well. I was blown away by the fact I couldn't find a good image for the thumbnail. I wanted to include it in my thumbnail. I couldn't because it's too new. You know, because why have pictures
Yeah,
out there?
it's kind of why I'm doubting that I'm going to find it on Steam, the wish list right now, but I'm going to check regardless. All right. Oh, there it is. Hubris, VR only Q4 2021. Hard to believe you couldn't find an image for this, Roots. It's on Steam.
Yeah, but the correct one. I'm looking for the correct one. I'm always looking for one that's got a picture of it with the title in there, and that changes things as well. I can find pictures of it. It's just a lot of times people have no idea what that picture is, and I don't want to go in and have to
Well, there we go.
do a lot of stuff. Too much.
Hubris added to my wish list. Says I have 50 hours on record in Half-Life Alex, Roots. That's crazy. I
How
don't think
many?
I've got that much time in 50
That's
hours.
it. Yeah, man, I just passed 250 for Pop 1.
Yeah, that's insanity, dude, for any game.
That is insanity.
So yeah, man, this thing looks so good. These, I could sit and watch this trailer all day.
Immortal
So yeah,
Legacy?
Hubris.
No,
No,
just kidding.
Hubris Part 1. So yeah, you guys be sure to leave a comment down below. Let us know what you wish listed. Which of these games we talked about today are you most excited for? A lot of good stuff on
Which
here.
game makes you the most sick? Void of Citizen, Roots for Immortal Legacy, I'm pretty sure. I think they're all good. Maybe if I had to pick one that I'm questioning my stomach on would be Zombieland, just because it has the potential to not be good. Everything else I think looks like it's gonna be good.
Yeah, Zombieland, maybe not Secret of Retropolis, even though I think that it's going to have some redeeming qualities in terms of art, not just visual art, but in the writing as well. Yeah, everything else I think is pretty solid. After the Fall, Demeo, Zenith, Flow Weaver looks great, Hubris. Yeah, and Cookie Pie, bro. Who doesn't love Cookie Pie?
Yeah, Gamertag says Project Terminus devs don't talk to him anymore. Yeah, I could see like sometimes at some point some devs are just like, you know what, screw you.
Yeah, I was curious about that, man. That game had a demo on SideQuest forever. It just launched on the Steam this past week, and I didn't even know. I never really gave it much attention. I didn't know if that was something I should be looking at. It is a horror themed game after all, um, but I just never really paid it much mind. So
Mepper blows my mind right now. He says I still don't know who or what a cookie pie is. That just blows
dude,
me
you're
away,
missing
bro.
out. You'll know soon.
You just ripped my
Mapper.
heart out, bro. Cookie
She's
pie.
going to be a PCVR phenomenon, Cookie Pie.
Yeah. Who doesn't love cookie pie?
Onakazi says he has more time in Minotaur Arcade Volume 1 than he does in Half-Life Alex. I could certainly see that. I want to start a movement, Roots. We need Jeff Minter's games on Oculus Quest. You know that Quest 2 can run that thing, especially if they're getting ready to institute 120 hertz mode. We got to have Polybius on there in 120 hertz, don't we?
Yeah, why in the hell is it not on there, man? And let me ask you this while we're on this little side jag about 120 hertz for just a smidge. why? Why is my Rift S not getting updates, man? You telling me the Rift S can't do 90? The Rift S can't do 120? The Quest is magic? Like they're deliberately not updating that. And it's kind of upsetting for somebody that, you should have that mode. It should be universal, right? You would think. I don't know.
Yeah, the writing's been on the wall with that one for a while, Roots. When they said that they weren't going to even sell them anymore, kind of the death knell for Rift S, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yep.
Gamertag says I was one of the first channels to cover Terminus back in the day. Then they wanted me to make another video on the update, but I didn't like the update and felt it changed the game. Oh, so they're angry at him because he's not a corporate puppet, Roots.
Well, gamer tag, let me tell you this too, and we're kind of the same way as you, and I'm assuming this from what you just said. You had the opportunity that you could have came in on and you could have shit all over it and said the update sucks, but you chose to not even talk about it at all. And that's kind of how we're at. If there's a game that maybe we like the game or we like the devs and we don't quite, I mean, I would rather not. It's just like you're growing up, man. Your mom always told you, if you don't have something nice to say about somebody, don't say anything at all. And sometimes that can apply to a game. It's like, you know what? You already got enough issues. I don't want to shit all over your game on top of it. And then the devs get upset because we gave you a key. Yeah, we could talk about it. You're not going to like what I have to say, type of thing, right? So I don't know.
Exactly. It sucks sometimes when you get that key and they're expecting you to give them content, but you really don't have much good to say about it. Kind of feels weird, but we generally tend to not talk about those games.
Yeah, there's enough people that want to make a name for being negative. We want to showcase the good games, and give criticism to the devs on ones that can be fixed, and then the rest, hopefully as time goes by, they just fall away. It's like, no, I mean, it's already happened in the last 2 years. Games that we would have covered easily in 2 years ago, we won't touch now because we want to focus on the good games, right? Not the games that make me want to smash my head into my keyboard.
Right.
So
Yeah. So that's going to bring us to our next reminder: free stuff and killer deals. Roots. We're going to start like we always do. PlayStation Plus for the month of March, dude. It just keeps getting better with the stuff that they're giving away. It's nuts. So PS Plus this month, we just started a new month. Final Fantasy VII Remake for PlayStation 4. That's how they're opening it up. Then they're going to give you Remnant from the Ashes, also for PlayStation 4. Destruction All Stars for PS5. That one still continued on from last month. Maquette, which is a game some people in our Discord are recommending to me. Looks really cool. This is also for PS5, also included with PlayStation Plus this month. And then to round it all out, Farpoint, one of the best titles in VR, period, free with PlayStation Plus this month, Roots.
that's a lot of good stuff, man. It's really good seller for the aim controller, right? Because we've already warned the people, and I'll warn you again. It's a Ruuts warning. Don't be naive. Don't think I'm going to play Farpoint with the controller. It can happen. You can do it. It's going to feel weird, and it's going to suck. I couldn't believe how bad it felt. And you tried to warn me, Wes, and I'll champion that to my grave. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I can't emphasize this enough. This game was developed for the aim controller. In fact, the aim controller was developed for this game. So, like, to play this without it is just, I mean, it's pointless. It's not good. Don't do it. The cost of an aim controller is worth it to play this game and nothing else. If you're just getting it to play Farpoint, it's worth it. Go get it. This game is amazing, but you got to have the aim controller.
And you have the added knowledge to know that it's not going to be just Farpoint because you're going to use it for Doom 3 and so many other titles. This isn't the last one that's going to be made for it, plus everything else, right? So,
Gamertag in chat says, "I wish Farpoint was fresh to me. I've played it so much, dude. We need to hit those co-op maps. Like it's been a while since I've been in there. Probably at least 3 or 4 months. So like having a new player in there with you makes it fresh, right?
mm-hmm.
And And those co-op maps, they never lose their challenge, especially if you ramp the difficulty up on it. So hit me up, Labasa.
Shiny Robot, if you still own it and it's still in its wrapper, just wait a couple months till it's not free. Get the free version. Guarantee you could sell somebody Farpoint, in 2 months when it's not free and get your money back. I would assume anyway.
Or hold on to it. I mean, even a lot of these Gen 1 PSVR games, I'm sure, are going to be collector's items one day. So if you got it in the plastic, keep it in the plastic.
And there's Radio Runt coming in with Battle Group VR is awesome. I was waiting for you to say that earlier, Radio Runt. So,
Shiny says he's finally getting in on the Resident Evil 7 tonight. Dude, congratulations. That's awesome.
yeah, and let me know how Jack treats you, because he doesn't like me very much, man. Doesn't like me.
Yeah, I'm so happy for Shiny finally getting into PSVR. Again, after your eyes adjust to the older hardware, the games are just next level. Says his son's loving Astrobot. Yeah, I think maybe all of my kids beat Astrobot. Like I know my boys both did. Um, it's a tremendous game. It's a tremendous platform, and we've kind of been gushing about PSVR for the last couple of weeks, so I don't want to get off on another rant about it. But it's just so good. While we're at it, let's talk a little bit more about the deals, because the PlayStation Plus games are not the only free games on the PlayStation Network. They're reinstating the Play at Home program, Ruuts. This is a program for people who are quarantined, who can't go out. They're giving away games so people have something to do while they're at home. And you don't even have to be a member of PlayStation Plus this month. If you'd like to get a copy of Ratchet and Clank
Ooh.
for free, you can absolutely do so. Just go to the PlayStation Store and it's free. Just go claim it. And I can vouch for this game. This is a fun game. Like
Yeah.
I played this game. I can't remember if I beat it. If I didn't beat it, I went very deep into it right before I got my PlayStation VR. So a tremendous game. And it's amazing that it's free. So go pick it up.
I love platforming games. Flat, VR, whatever. It's so much fun. So.
Drew says 4-point co-op for the win. Yeah, man, it's been a while, like I said, but when I'm in practice in that game and I'm zoned in, like I'm a sniper with that I'm surgical with that long range rifle. Like it's my main weapon is the long range rifle. And then I kind of fall back on the shotgun as a secondary weapon.
Yeah. I'm not as good as you are, but I had a lot of fun in that game for sure. I enjoyed the story, even without the co-op. The co-op definitely adds a lot more to it for sure.
Yeah, the story is definitely the draw of the game. But after you beat it, and you still want to get more of that gameplay in. I mean, there's challenge levels, which are very challenging. There's co-op levels. There's 1 versus 1 multiplayer levels. I mean, there's a lot of content here with this game.
Absolutely.
And for it to be free is it's amazing.
That's crazy.
Ruuts, we talked last week about how the PlayStation VR sale went from 1 week to being bigger the next week. Well, guess what, Ruuts?
It's even bigger.
It's even bigger this week. They added more titles to it. Well over 100 PSVR titles on sale right now, including Astrobot Rescue Mission for $15. Blood and Truth Ruuts is also $15.
Wow.
And that's incredible considering the level of quality there, the fact that it's PlayStation 5 enhanced. A great game. Rush of Blood Ruuts is $10.
What a great time for Shiny to get into VR, PlayStation VR, right?
You took it right out of my mouth. I know he's got Astrobot. I think he's got Blood and Truth as well. Shiny, do you have Rush of Blood? If you don't have Rush of Blood, you need to pick it up. It's $10 right now.
If you don't pick it up, Ruuts is going to be kind of pissed because that's the one game that I wish I could play right now that I just don't have the option to. I just can't. Most of the PlayStation VR games, it's hit or miss. It's okay. I'd love to play Hitman 3, but eventually I will. But this game, I really enjoyed it, and I love roller coasters, and it's definitely worth $10 hands down, immediately pick it up.
Yeah, yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's still, I mean, I mean, it's easily the best rail shooter ever in VR, right? Like, it's not even close. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I just like I said, even just if you were able to just ride the roller coasters, it's fun. It's creepy. It's horror. It's like what the hell is going on? It's great to watch people. You know, I love the way that it ramps up. You stick somebody in there, it seems like it's just this fun carnival shooter type of thing. And if they have no idea that it's horror at all, you can really freak somebody out. Which I don't know if I recommend that, but it's fun.
Yeah, Shiny says he's got Rush of Blood on loan, but he does not have Blood and Truth. So
Ooh,
yeah, yeah, you got to get Blood and Truth, bro.
15 bucks,
15
man.
bucks.
Yep, all day.
Yeah. Yeah, that was 40 bucks at launch, I think.
Yeah.
It's 15.
Yep.
It's crazy. Um top 5 PSVR game Blood and Truth, I would say.
Absolutely, especially with the PlayStation 5 update if you've got the PlayStation 5.
Yeah. Home Sweet Home, solid horror game for $15. In Death, Roots, 12 bucks for In Death. Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the best archery game out there. And I sometimes I forget about this game. We focus so much on Unchained for the Quest that we forget that this is a legit amazing version of In Death for PlayStation VR. And that's a good price for it for sure.
Yeah, and somebody was telling me the other day it has a asynchronous co-op challenge mode, or not co-op, but an asynchronous challenge mode, so you can kind of like take on your friends specifically in this game mode, even though it's not head to head. It's you take turns and uh you take on it guarantees that you load into the same node that your friend loaded into, and then
You can
you
see each
compare
other.
scores. I don't think you can see each other, but you compare your score to theirs playing the exact same game that they played.
Oh, cool. Wow.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
I had no idea that was even in there, but apparently it is.
Yeah, me either.
Iron Man VR, the by far the best superhero game in VR, $24. And this is a fairly recent release, so that's a pretty good price for it.
Yeah, also has a PlayStation 5 update. Hey, have you finished this game or how close are you to this game finishing this?
I haven't picked it back up since I moved on from it. I
Oh
need to.
wow,
Need to get
yeah.
back into it.
Yeah, this is a game. This is another game that I wish I could play on PlayStation VR. If I had it, I'd be playing it. I just don't have access.
Yeah, and apparently a lot better experience on the PS5 with that extra horsepower behind it.
Wow. So it'll be worth it when I play it, eventually play it. It'll be the best version of it. So,
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look better, but it performs better. You know what I mean? Like it's the same textures and all that. It's not like super sampled to 4K like Blood and Truth is, but
yet. Maybe it will be.
right. Yeah, there you go. I like how you think.
Yeah.
Firewall. I would say if Shiny Robot has a name controller, that paying $13 for Firewall is kind of a no-brainer.
Absolutely. Especially if you can get in there with Wes and get in there with uh who was it? The gaming cat, the dude Hack, right? Is his name Hack?
Oh yeah, yeah. Drew and Hack,
Yeah.
Roy Schwartz. Roy Schwartz to this day, I think this is the only game that he plays. He's in there all day, every day.
Wow. Well, yeah, it's definitely worth 13 bucks for sure.
Yeah. So we might need to refund Shiny's Patreon support so he can pick up some of this stuff while it's on sale.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Impatient. If you like a dark narrative, friends, The Impatient's worth $10 all day, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, this is one of the games you said that if it would have released at a better price, it would have been received better, right? Plus, it wasn't what everybody expected.
Yeah, very much more of a interactive narrative than a game, but one with branching narrative and multiple endings. And again, very dark, some legit scares in this game. And I think it really, more than anything, this was a victim of expectations. People wanted it to be Rush of Blood 2, and it was nowhere near that. So a lot of people really put off by it, that and the fact it was overpriced. So But $10 is a more than fair price for it. It's a high quality experience, and I recommend it at that price.
Yeah, Shiny Robot says he's buying them all up. That's good.
Good, yeah, you should. Especially, I mean, this is why you get PlayStation VR, right? You get it for the exclusives. Get them while they're on sale.
Yep.
The Persistence once was a PlayStation VR exclusive. It's still one of the best games in all of VR, and it's only $15 right now in the PlayStation Store.
Yeah, definitely a must play through in my opinion, especially for $15 if you
Yeah.
like these kind of games.
I've been jonesing to get back in this one and push it with my new hardware, my new graphics card, my new headset. I want to see just how scary these crazy monsters can be.
Well, what's funny is it looks so phenomenal already on the PC VR without all the high tech stuff that you've got. I imagine it just looks really amazing on the G2.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know, but I need to, right?
Yeah.
Evasion. You know, not many uh great uh co-op shooters on PlayStation VR. There are some. I rate Evasion among them. Basically, most of its worth as a game comes from its co-op multiplayer campaign, right?
Yeah.
The whole first hour of our show pretty much was about how we need more of these multiplayer co-op campaigns. Well, here's one for you, and it's on PlayStation, and it supports aim controller, and it's $10.
I really like this game. I didn't even play it with other players. I played it by myself and got to the last boss and barely almost beat it. But the way that you can heal with the different mechanics of the different players, I think it's cool. I think it's different. So
Shiny Robot, if you had to play one PSVR title, what would be first? It's hard for me not to give you five. Like, it's hard for me to not give you five or six, even. I mean, damn it. It's tough. I'd say Resident Evil 7 first. And then I would say Farpoint with aim controller. Um, and then
Rush of Blood, Astrobot.
Rush of Blood,
Those two.
Astrobot, Blood and Truth, and Here They Lie. That's my six. You got to play those.
Weasel 6.
Um,
You
yeah.
got it.
Yeah. And Here They Lie, you're going to be a bit underwhelmed with at first. It's a bit of a slow burn. And, it hasn't aged well. Like, it's not the super sharpest thing. It's a bit blurry in the peripheral. But I promise you, if you play into that, the experience is going to be worth it. If you're like me and you like this kind of psychedelic what the fuck horror game moments, this game has it in droves. And yeah, I just the more I play it, the more I think about it, the more I love it, and the higher it gets on my list. So
Yeah. Yeah.
good point. Paradise the Case says, don't forget Wipeout. Yeah, dude. Wipeout's pretty awesome too. There's so many, right? These PlayStation exclusives, there's so many. You always end up forgetting some of them.
Yeah. Don't forget Hitman 3.
Yeah.
That would legitimately, if you said, okay, Roots, what you just got PlayStation VR, what's the game you're going to play today? The first game, that's what I'm playing. Now, granted, I've played those other games already, but I want to play through that AAA story in VR. So,
Shiny Robot says I have to check it out. It's not on sale right now. It's $20. Don't buy it for $20. You can get it way cheaper than that. You can get it for $7 to $10 if you're a bit patient. But what you can do is on the PlayStation Store, you'll notice PlayStation VR demo disc. And there's some cool stuff on the demo disc. There's 3 volumes, I think, or maybe even 4. And on the demo disc volume 1, which the first thing I ever played in VR was PlayStation VR demo disc volume 1, there's a legit Resident Evil 7 demo called Kitchen, which will scare the shit out of anybody you put in that headset. And it's not a game excerpt. It's a built from the ground up demo, right? So you want to check out Kitchen, and then there's a level from Here They Lie on that disc as well. And it's not the first level, it's like the third level. So there's some legit craziness that goes on in that as well. So I would just suggest if you want to check it out and see what it's like, get that PSVR Demo Disc Volume 1 and check out the Here They Lie level on that.
Yep.
All right, so where are we? Epic Games Store. Free game this week, War Game Red Dragon. Not much for me to say about that other than it's free.
Yeah.
Shiny Robot says, I want the shark one too. Yeah, that's PlayStation VR Worlds, that's called. And as much as people talk about the shark demo on that, that's probably about my third favorite thing on it. There's a playable game on it called the London Heist, which is what Blood and Truth is based on. So the London Heist was so good that they made Blood and Truth from it. They said make that into a full game, and then they gave us Blood and Truth. But yeah, very much. If you want to know what Blood and Truth's like, go check out the London Heist on PlayStation VR Worlds. There's also another game called the Scavenger's Odyssey, which is a really cool asteroid hopper shooter game, cockpit shooter. That's really fun, but it'll get your stomach, so be careful with that one. All right, Quest Store daily deal. We got to check the daily deal in real time, Roots, because I do my notes too early now to ever have it on here anymore. But that's okay. We can just go look, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And while you look for that, we can talk about the double deal. I guess the Climb 1, right? Climb 1, Climb 2. They've got on sale.
Like yeah, the Climb 1 and 2 on sale for $40, which is pretty cool when you consider that's what the Climb just used to cost by itself.
I paid $40 for the Climb 1 all day, or back in the day, and I for both of them, $40 is definitely worth it. I can't I can get the I guess it's what does it cost $30 for the game by itself, right?
I think it's 20. I
Is
think
20?
Yeah. Well, it might be 30. It might be. I don't know.
I know that
I can tell you.
Yeah, I know that it's it gave me the discounted price because I own the first one. I can't remember what it said now.
All right, so the Climb 2 is $30 and the Climb 1 is $30. So yeah, you're saving $20 by getting them together.
Yeah. And it's a lot of content, dude, for $40. So
yeah, for sure.
I want to see the volcano. That's the only thing I care about. I want to see that volcano.
So did you picked up Climb 2?
I did not. No, because I think it's only Quest 2, right? At this point. I don't think it's out on the original Quest.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's a Quest exclusive. You're absolutely correct about that.
Yeah, I'll be picking up a Quest 2 soon enough though. So I'll check it out. But I'm kind of like in the same boat as you. I wasn't inclined to pick it up right now, So I don't think it's multiplayer. Is it multiplayer? The Climb 2?
No.
That would be cool.
Daily deal is Alt Deus Beyond Chronos, which is this kind of anime story type thing. It's very popular. It's a new release. Originally $40, now $32, 20% off.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
But this other bundle that Quest Store has going on is pretty legit, in my opinion. Lies Beneath and Freediver, both awesome experiences. Lies Beneath, one of the best horror games in VR, in my opinion. $34 for the two of them. It's worth it all day long.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Both are really good games, and you just played through Lies Beneath. You know exactly how good it is. It's one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best horror games, and if not one of the best Quest games out there right now. So,
yeah, it's really good, and it's better. The deeper you get into it, the better. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Onakazi says you can race other players' ghosts, like in racing games.
Okay. Can you see them, Onakazi? So like you're seeing them moving. You like watch PD mess up. You're like, oh God, he just slipped. I'm going. fly by them like waving at Paradise Decay. See you later, buddy.
Mepper says, how many of the Climb 1 climbs are in the Climb 2? I don't think any. I think this is legit a whole new set of levels here.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, that moves us on to Steam. Not a lot from Steam this week, but a few notables. Dirt Rally 2. Remember last week when we said you can get Dirt Rally 2 on sometimes on Steam for like $6?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can get
Exactly.
it this week on Steam for $6.
That's exactly why I was saying, I would like to pick up the Oculus version, but it's hard for me to pick it up when the Steam version is telling me it's $6 all day. Now, granted, they say it's better SDK, whatever. I should still be able to pick up the game for $6 on Oculus, and I don't see myself buying it for the outrageous price of what was it, $12 or something. It wasn't really actually was a good deal for the Oculus version as well, but it's not as good as $6, man. $6. Damn, dude, that's a good deal. Can I have
talk about a good deal? I'm sorry.
I was gonna ask, can I have gamer tag as my telling me? I could deal with that because we got along in the Z Racer.
Yeah, well, there you go. And you can't beat that deal, right? That game was free.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I love free.
Speaking about a deal for $12, Ruuts, Paper Beast, $12 on Steam right now. Really, I thought that this game was a bit intriguing. I didn't understand until I got into it just how intriguing this game is. It's really, really cool, very immersive experience here, and unique as it can be.
Yeah, $12 worth that for sure all day long.
3D SEN. For those of you out there like myself who love retro games, before VR Roots, the only gaming I was doing was retro games. So for a game or a title like this that allows you to take your existing NES ROMs and play them in full on legitimate 3D, I mean, this thing is a steal for $14.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't used it enough. I need to use it more. I don't have too many too many ROMs, but definitely would be one of those things that I like to check out things in VR for sure.
So you've got access to all the ROMs you need, brother.
Yeah, you got tons of them, right? I was thinking about who's that one podcast, the one that came into our 2020 show that focuses on the flat game.
Riggs.
Yeah, John Riggs. Do you think he's done this, used this program very much?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Riggs has tried this out.
Yeah, cool.
And last but not least, Gates of Nowhere. I put this one on here just for the sheer value at $3. I mean, this is a solid game, and for it to be $3 is kind of nuts.
Yeah, dude. Especially if you don't, if you're one of those new people that just got into VR and you don't have many games. I thought this was a legit game at what it was going by back in the day. For $3, this is absolutely worth $3, hands down.
I mean, what's $3? That's not even a quad venti white mocha.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you what, man. I had a awakening, man. That went up. The price of it went up 21 cents, bro. And now it's getting outside. It's getting too pricey for me. It was already too pricey.
Biden administration.
Yeah, everything's going up. But I'm expecting that anyway. But it's 21 cents. But when you figure what the cost of the entire thing is, and you start to figure percentage, that's a pretty big jump. So, but
yeah. Viport, not much doing on Viport this week, Roots. Did notice a couple of games though. There's one called Cartridge Monsters, which from what I could tell, man, Cartridge Monsters is like kind of like a Pokemon game. It's a monster capturing role playing game. I mean, that's Pokemon, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and this is definitely this picture. I was thinking, wow, this looks just like Cartridge Monsters, but it is not Cartridge Monsters. This is a different picture. And
that is the picture I think
from the 2020.
Award.
Yeah, but see, I got the trailer, and so something weird happened. But we're gonna fix this in real time, and you guys are gonna get to see what Cartridge Monsters looks like because I was blown away. It was Pokemon on a stick. Now it's pretty cool. It's different, right? It's Viveport Infinity, or is this just Viveport in general?
This is Infinity. This is a new Infinity title.
Okay, so you guys can play this if you can want to right now. You can go check it out. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know, man. Doesn't quite look like my cup of tea, but I'm sure there's people out there that probably loves this sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, Roots, speaking of fun, Rocket Skates VR has come to Viveport Infinity this week. That is not Rocket
That is
Skates
not,
VR.
yeah, but it's there. I thought I had it. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what happened
So,
to my rocket skates either, bro.
so basically, with the Rocket Skates VR, I don't see any skates. I don't see anything other than a rocket, and you just hold the rocket, and off you go, man, down the road, and
It look.
lots of.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna
I'm sorry.
say it looks like what was that one? Actually, well done one with the jet things on your feet and stuff, right?
So I don't know.
Jet something or other. Yeah, it
What
seems.
Jet Island?
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of a Jet Island type of thing a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, I guess. I could see that.
Yeah.
But it was weird, man. Like it's the beginning of the trailer showed you just holding onto the rocket and flying down the road. And then like the next part of the trailer, like you have the rocket in one hand and then like a stick or something in the other, and you're hitting things. And then on the end of the trailer, you have the rocket in one hand and a gun in the other, shooting things.
So let me ask you this: is that a game you're going to be visiting?
Hey, you never know.
Yeah.
I may get bored one night and decide, hey, you know what? I want to wear some rocket skates.
Yeah. Who doesn't want rocket skates these days?
But the one legit piece of exciting information I did get from Viport Infinity this week is what you're looking at right here. Now, The Lost Eye, coming on April the 29th to Viport Infinity. So a little wait here, 6 weeks or so, but a solid game. And a game we're going to be talking about a little bit more this week, Roots, as we go on the late night show. Uh, Game of the month. It's time for game of the month for February, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is definitely a game that's going to be worth playing through when it does hit Viveport Infinity. So you have 6 weeks to wait, but definitely worth the wait. And yeah, it's a exciting, good game, I think. So
Yeah, so probably going to be jumping back into this some more this week just because I'm kind of lost at what we should pick for the PCVR game of the month this month. There's some solid things. I know Awake In has had some significant updates to it since we were in it on launch. They fixed a lot of the complaints that we had, and I told them some of my suggestions that we made during the show when we reviewed it, and they said good ideas that they were going to add that stuff in too. So, um,
doesn't it make you
yeah,
wonder, Wes, like why all these developing companies aren't just checking with us to begin with? Like, come on, let us know.
free,
Well, yeah,
free of service. For all we ask is you let us play your game, and we can
well,
tell you exactly what you need to do to it.
yep, absolutely.
People should be running every game by us before they launch. I mean,
I was
if
just
they want to
thinking
have
that.
a success.
Radio Rant says landfall. And you
Of
were
course it
saying you
does.
haven't been hearing people say landfall a lot lately, right? So
Shiny says I'm in PSVR land at the moment. I'm daydreaming of a legit Spider-Man VR exclusive on PSVR 2 now that they have Insomniac. That's very possible, right? I mean, that we could get a Spider-Man VR game, and I'm sure they do well when you consider the gameplay mechanics in Stormland. It's not a far cry to imagine them being able to do a very effective Spider-Man game. And I'd like to recommend that last Spider-Man demo. If you haven't tried it out, was actually pretty fun. I mean, it was kind of limited in what it did, but it was fun for while it lasted.
yeah. Well, and I would submit, and I've said this many a times, it doesn't need to be first person either. They could take the exact game that just came out for PlayStation 2 or 5, and they could take that game and they could put, one of the I've been having the really good time playing the Luke Ross mod of GTA 5. But I'll let you in on a secret, Wes. I'm not always in first person. There's so many times that I'm in third person and I'm just doing my thing, playing the game like I've always been, but I'm marveling at being in the environments, and I'm still looking around and seeing the buildings, and I'm still in that environment, man. If you could take the gameplay, which is amazing and feels so good already on the TV, and put you in that game in third person and let you, run around and play that whole entire platform just as it is in VR, I think people would have a amazing time, even if it's the iteration between, because obviously everybody wants to swing around with Spider-Man with their arms in full VR motion. But maybe you don't get that the first iteration first. Maybe it's just an amazing version of the third person Spider-Man, and they could do that today. It wouldn't be that hard to transform that into VR. If they can do Hitman, they can surely do that Spider-Man game, right?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And again, um, Sony, that they aim to please, and I got to imagine that when we get the next iteration of PlayStation VR, they're not going to pull any punches when it comes to software support for it. So, Spider-Man 2, the only thing that makes me skeptical that we could get this kind of Spider-Man VR game is the fact that if they're going to have Insomniac do a Spider-Man game, I mean, why wouldn't they just do a flat game and sell 50 million copies of it? You know what I
Or
mean?
do both. Why
Uh,
not just do the? You can just hit both genres with the exact same game.
well, I mean that's true. You could do that, but it would be a third person game. It would have to be if you're going to go flat with it. It would have to be a third person Spider-Man game, and that's not what he's talking about here. He wants to be Spider-Man. So I don't know. It'd be a difficult proposition to pull both off.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Anyway, I think that's it. That's going to wrap up our reminders. It's going to bring us to our final set of reminders this week and every week, and that is how you can support our channel. Of course, for those of you who are new to the channel, the easiest and best way that you can support our channel is by clicking the things. Click the big red button and the bell if you want to stay updated with all of our content here on Virtual Strangers. Our expanding library of content, by the way, we got new shows coming, guys. I'm very excited about it. And I got to think that we're going to start production pretty soon on this, right, Roots?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm ready whenever we can fit your schedule, or my schedule is a lot more open than yours. I just kind of figure I'll slot in whenever you're available.
So what it's looking like for us going forward, we're going to have this show on Sundays. This is the news show, the topic current events driven topical VR podcast, the flagship, if you will, Virtual Strangers will remain here on Sunday afternoon. Wednesday night, we're a little more games focused and we're a lot later at night. The only late night VR podcast, I guess Strangers in the Night is the leading name possibility for it right now, but that's not locked up just yet. And then, in addition to these two shows, friends, a third program, which isn't going to be weekly, probably more likely to be monthly. But boy, it's going to be good when we reveal this thing.
Absolutely.
Anyway, yeah. So if you haven't already, you're going to want to click that big red button and that bell. Please subscribe. You're not going to want to miss it out. Getting better all the time, Roots.
Absolutely. Andy McAvoy's, I guess he's in animation. He's kind of curious on the difference between animations and like AAA Pixar, that type of stuff, and why we aren't seeing a lot of that in VR, if that's what I'm seeing. And we're seeing just on the cusp of it, the stuff like interactive. What was it? Wolves in the Walls, which is a little bit more, I guess, indie. Even what Rinlo seemed like it had like a Pixar feel to it. I just don't think that they're in some of the other story animation stories that we've had, like The Crow and or whatever, very like stepping stones, right? But hopefully we'll get to the point where we're seeing some of these animations in there that'll just blow you away. I think Star Wars kind of felt like that to me. The new Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy, it felt like I was dropped right into a cartoon, and some of the animations in there were really phenomenal as well. So
I think to To answer your base question, Andy, the I think the big difference between quality level of animations in film versus games is you don't have the end user rendering the animations locally on their hardware. So, like when you're talking about a film, for example, you have guys like you with these super expensive um, rigs that are rendering out these animations, recording them, and then the end user, all they have to do is play it back. It's so much different when it comes to games because each individual end user has a machine that's trying to render out these animations. And what that does is it limits the animation to the lowest common denominator among all of these rigs. So when you're looking at consoles, when you're looking at PCs, it, everything has to be uniform, right? So these animations have to play to the lowest spec among them. So I think that that's the reason why you see such a big gap in between the film and the gaming world. Although I will say this, you can expect that gap to narrow significantly over the next year or two because the level of hardware that people have at home is getting a significant boost this generation, like more than we've ever seen before. So I think that the experience in games is going to be much more film like going forward than it ever has been before.
Yeah, exciting times for sure.
Okay, so all right, so of course, I lost where we were at. Uh, you can also join our Discord, friends. The conversation, it never ends. The show may be ending, but the conversation lives on at home. We're inviting you home. Down in the description below, you'll find an invitation to our Discord. All you got to do is click that, and Roots, Weasel, everybody in the chat almost, all at your fingertips 24/7. It's a loving bunch. Come home. You know you
Yeah,
want to come home.
yeah. Come home and have some freshly baked cookies. We're waiting for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can also support, as our good friend Shiny Robot here has recently done, by supporting us on Patreon. For those of you who have been longtime subscribers and want to do a little something extra, only $3 per month gets you access to our weekly show notes as well as the always awesome money show. And I do want to shout out Shiny Robot one more time. Thank him for his contribution. Thank him for his support. And I also want to shout out our newest patron, Derek Halverson.
Ooh.
Thank you, Derek, for joining the ranks of our Patreon. We appreciate it very much. We promise not to spend your money on hookers and blow.
Yeah, well, no, definitely not going to happen for me for sure. I'll tell you what, man. I didn't even know about Derek. I appreciate you. And Paradise Decay says, you know who else likes fingertips 24/7?
Come on, man.
Oh,
My
not
mom!
Biden too, but
You know who else likes hold on a second. Let's see here. I can't see. How many thumbs up do we have, people? Tell me how many thumbs up
38.
we have.
38.
37. You know who else likes 37 thumbs up, Roots?
My mom!
Oh yeah, she does. For
All
sure.
right. So I think that's about it, right? Am I leaving anything out?
Nah, I think that's it. I think everybody rocks. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you again on Wednesday.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for watching, friends. We'll see you Wednesday. Bye bye.
Take it easy.